Wisconsin On Demand, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Thanks to David and his team for supporting the show and for supporting Wisconsin On Demand. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Alex Strofe is our cousin sub of the day for Jesse Nelson behind the glass inside the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And on the other side of the glass, also in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs we believe in better for Tausch. It is the Olympic gold medalist. And later, subsequently, fourth place finisher. And TBD for the next Olympics. We love this guy. It's Matt Hamilton. Matthew, good morning. How are you?
I am doing fantastic this morning. Just another great day to be on Wilde Tausch. I'm going to be honest. I totally forgot about Hard Knocks last night until that text message, and I sacrificed an extra hour of my beauty sleep, which I know I need desperately.
I can tell you sacrificed it. Yeah.
To watch that episode. It was something.
Maybe my eyes are failing me. Are you clean shaven?
Yeah, I had so, you know, 'tis the training camp season. I was at training camp in Minneapolis for curling last weekend, and so I obviously had to cut the mustache in. We were on ice. I needed to make sure I was aerodynamic when I was sliding.
Sure, yeah.
And when I got home, my wife was just like, either you go or that thing goes. You can stay on the couch or you can cut your mustache off. So I chose the cutting of the mustache.
All right, well, I could talk about facial hair and your marriage all day, but let's start with a polarizing figure. We've talked a lot about him on this show. He irritates a lot of people.
Tauscher?
No, but close. Let's talk about Jesse Nelson. So yesterday, Strofe, you and Jesse co-hosted Scalzo and Brust. I don't know which one of you was Scalzo and which one was Brust, but you did Scalzo and Brust yesterday, correct?
Unfortunately, yes, that is correct. And I say unfortunately because I worked with Jesse, not unfortunate that I filled in on that show.
So I know he's watching on YouTube at home with the puppy dog Mo. And I want to start by saying very clearly that I think he does a really good job with our show.
Yeah.
He prepares us. He does a great show sheet that even if we, as often is the case, whether it's with Matt Hamilton or with Mark Tauscher, we don't follow it to the letter, I can always move segments around and come back to stuff that was scheduled to be done. I think, whether it's Dunzo or the Pirate Trivia, he adds a lot to our show. I am appreciative of his work as our producer. But I get the sense that there is a undercurrent of irritation with him over this Wednesday, air quotes, work from home with the puppy that they have. And then yesterday you got after him for not coming in to do Scalzo and Brust. He only came in like 29 minutes before the program began, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, he showed up to the office 31 minutes before. 3:29 p.m. is when he walked in. So Wednesday work from home all month of August. So I will be with you, Jason, every Wednesday in the month of August.
Which we love.
Yeah, I love it too. I love hanging out with you. But now he's also implementing, it seems, a work from home Tuesday. So
Strofe, let's be fair though.
Oh, boy.
He did come in, coffees in hand. Like a little, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
But that wasn't an I'm sorry. That was, hey, please don't give me crap on the air coffee.
Oh no, he knows he made a mistake, but at least he didn't come empty-handed. So you got to throw him a bone there.
That's fair. You did, however, come empty-handed this morning. I was really counting on some breakfast this morning, but that's beside the point.
I said, I lost an extra hour of beauty sleep to watch Aaron Rodgers sling the pill.
Thank you for your service, as we like to say on this show.
You're welcome, Jason.
So my question is, because lots of people, I know that there is now a trend back toward coming to the office, right? Mm-hmm. And who am I to cast the first stone for working from home as I stand here in the Wilde family basement studios? But I'm curious if this is just your frustration with him, Strofe, or if this is a team-wide frustration. Because I think we should poll if we're okay with Jesse working from home because he's dog sitting his new puppy Mo. Because I'm wondering if you guys are just being a little harsh on the young fella.
I would just say this, Jason. Other people in the office have pets.
Okay.
I've got 8 of them, 9 of them.
Well, and you're a special case, right?
I am.
We're in
Thank
Madison.
you.
Jesse works in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
You live in Green Bay. You have another job which allows you to cover the Packers that you need to be in Green Bay for. So we understand why you're not in the studio. However, other people have pets. Other people don't take 2 days to work from home, quote unquote, every week. As I told you yesterday at
Spoken like a
Scalzo
guy
and Brust.
who doesn't have a pet. I'm telling you, puppies are tough.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I'm giving Jesse a pass for the.
Oh.
If this is something like, hey, I have a dog now. I'm working from home every Wednesday indefinitely. That's an issue. If he's got 2 months until this puppy can handle holding its piddle for a little bit,
Handle holding its piddle.
I can deal with that.
Piddle.
I can deal with that.
If you had handle holding its piddle on your Wilde Tausch bingo card, you're a winner.
Oh, look at that. I did.
Oh, I thought you looked down because maybe you piddled. All right, so
Not yet.
Wouldn't count it against him.
Not yet. 3
All
hours
right.
is a long show, though.
I'll say this, Matt, having his back on this. I'm impressed.
You know what? I normally don't like having Jesse's back on too many things, but as a guy who's had who had 2 puppies and definitely ran home on my lunch hour, granted, I wasn't forced to be on the air at the time. I could come and go as I please at my other job, so I would just go home and let him out and come back. Jesse doesn't have that luxury, so I get this. And I'm about the most coddled employee here at ESPN, so I am not one to cast a stone.
Tausch is more coddled than me. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
He's the biggest star we have.
He definitely is the biggest star we have, but I ask a lot for off time.
No, this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Yeah, believe it or not. So I'm not going to cast a stone at Jesse's direction about taking time off because that is not my.
I guess the most frustrating part wasn't even the fact he didn't come into the office until 3:29 p.m. When I asked him what he did yesterday, his response was, "I sent an email at 10 a.m." And that was the end of the conversation.
Well, no, and then he said I should be gearing up for my nap about now. He had just gotten into the office at 3:30 saying normally I'm about to take a nap at this time.
That'll rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
I could see how that might bother you, Strofe. All right. Well,
I'll be all right, Jason.
well, we're thrilled to have you. I just wanted to build that lead up for a divisive, controversial figure, and everyone expected to be Aaron Rodgers and instead do Jesse Nelson. We will talk a little bit about Hard Knocks. Not a ton, because quite frankly, Strofe, meh. I had very high hopes, and they were not met. Did you?
Really?
Yeah.
I am so curious on what your high hopes were. Because I saw exactly what I thought I was going to see. Like, to the T. I didn't need to watch that. I could have came in, not seen a single second of it, and just gone with my gut of what I thought happened, and I would have been right. You guys would have thought I watched it twice.
So I will explain myself coming up. But first of all, let me tell a quick story, and it does not involve Jesse Nelson. So every day during training camp, I am visiting with the Wisconsin's afternoon news crew of John Mercure and Greg Matzik on 620 WTMJ, Wisconsin's radio station. Big audience. And John Mercure yesterday goes in like Strofe on Jesse Nelson. I don't want to watch this. I don't need to see this narcissist on Hard Knocks. Like, I was like, John, who hurt you? Did Aaron Rodgers hurt you? But he feels very strongly, and it was great because I don't think he's the only one who feels that way in the Packers fan base. There's no question that he is, I don't know if it's the majority, but it is definitely a vocal minority who feels that strongly and have that much animus toward Aaron Rodgers. There's no question, right? You guys would agree?
Yeah.
So I was a little bit taken aback, and the reason why I was surprised is that I understand the frustration about him in recent years, and I hope John didn't watch, because one thing that I think they showed a lot of last night that will irritate people was him interacting with people much younger than him that are his teammates. And there is definitely a feeling that last season he didn't do that sufficiently. Now, in fairness to him, we weren't at every practice once the season started. We did not have Hard Knocks cameras following him around. But we do have some breadcrumbs, right, from Romeo Dobbs saying that Aaron taught me a lot even with barely speaking to me. Now, is that Romeo's sensitivity and feeling like he needed to speak to him more? Is it not an accurate depiction of how much Rodgers spent time with him? As I would say to Aaron Rodgers if he was sitting here today, it doesn't matter if you feel like you spent enough time with him. If Romeo Dobbs feels like you barely spoke to him, you didn't spend enough time with him. Right?
Yeah.
Fair?
I agree with that.
So I thought it showed, I would agree with you, it showed what I was expecting. But I will explain my disappointment along with, Strofe is going to translate the parable of the eagle and the crow that Robert Saleh unveiled last night, because I'm not sure I fully understood it, and I don't even know if that's based in. We should call like an aviary expert and get some information on birds, because I'm a little skeptical on how he presented that story.
Just fly higher, Jason. Just fly higher.
I am flying high today with my two of my favorite cousin subs of the day, Matt Hamilton, the Olympic gold medalist, and Alex Strofe in for Jesse, who we will poll it. I think he's going to do okay in this poll. I really do. I think especially pet owners who've had puppies and who've had to, quote, hold their piddle, will probably be supportive of him. I'm curious to see how large of a crowd that is. All right. We will get to a little bit of Hard Knocks, and then we'll move on toward the Packers as we roll on here. But before that, you've heard Tausch talk about it all August long. Keeping the birds and the bees out of your house with your Pella windows and doors. Well, apparently you need to keep the crows and the eagles out of your house based on what we heard from Robert Saleh last night. But let's hear from Tausch as we continue. Tausch tells us about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin as Wilde Tausch continues next.
Mark Tauscher here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Well, let's talk about the birds and the bees. Nature. We want to keep all of that out of our house, right? Well, the 250 series from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin include exclusive hidden screens, which can stay inside the window while you're not using it. And if you bundle and save the 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with exclusive hidden screens, you can pay as low as $188 per month. Now that's a good deal. Visit PellaWI.com today.
This is Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo, you need Pella's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens, protecting you from nature.
Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with hidden screens as low as $188 per month. PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Matt Hamilton here for Iron Jock. Believe it or not, being an Olympic curler takes a lot of practice time on the ice. And despite always being cool, I still work up a sweat. That's why I love Iron Jock and their no-stink technology. Silver Iron technology is the how behind why it works, and that is about as technical as I can get with it. What I do know is that if I'm on the ice or just wanting to look good, I know Iron Jock has t-shirts, polos, and hoodies for me. Support this Wisconsin-based company today and get gear at ironjoc.com. That's ironjoc.com.
If you're looking to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Honda, buy local. Shop Zimbrick Honda. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Oil changes, brakes, alignments, and warranties. Honda's certified technicians handle it all. And if you need new tires, buy 3 and get the 4th for just $1 when they mount and balance them for you. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe. I love locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits, so it's a no-brainer. I choose Door County Distillery, which uses local ingredients for their wide array of whiskeys, brandies, rums, vodkas, gins, and a whole lot more. Available at your favorite retailer, or if you're headed up to Door County, find them on Highway 42 near Carlsville, where there's year-round sampling and sales. And by the way, head over to their website for a huge list of unique cocktail recipes. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com. DoorCountyDistillery.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 7th. Position players, pitchers, and catchers can showcase their skills for over 40 college coaches scheduled to attend. Registration is open to all players in the 2024 to 27 graduating years, and spots are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Sign up today at grbacademy.com. That's grbacademy.com. Rays Baseball, raise your game.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
The poll is in the field. The question is this. Today's Wilde Tausch Twitter poll. Jesse Nelson is taking each Wednesday off this month to, quote, work from home and dog sit for his new puppy Mo. I wanted to get Hold Your Piddle in there as a hashtag, but I decided against it. If you were his ESPN Madison teammate, would you be irritated by this or okay with this? Alex Strofe.
Now, in my defense, Jason, if I may, I don't believe I ever said I was irritated by it. I think you just are
I'm
a big,
keen
fan
I'm
of
a
context
keen
clues.
observer
Yeah.
of people's behaviors and reading between the lines.
Psychology major, Jason Wilde. But yeah, that's fair. I can't say I ever said that though, just for the record.
All right. Well, thank you for clarifying, because we could not tell which way you would vote in this poll. Early returns, 9 votes in the first 10 seconds. Did I just get called a slime ball in a text message? Or is that
I believe I did.
you?
Yes, I believe I did.
I'd be okay with it.
Jesse.
77.8%. I'd be irritated by it. 22.2%. There's a chance you could get routed, and we're going to have to deal with Jesse Nelson puffing out his chest when he does actually come into the studio, which, again, is only 3 days a week at this point.
He might try and get another day out of it if everyone really votes in his favor. Just, I'm going to take 2 days from home a week, actually, now that I realize I've got the support of the Wilde Tausch family.
I better get comfortable.
Yeah, Strophy.
All right, well, we'll see how the polling goes. Let's get to Hard Knocks. Now, Strofe, you were surprised by my meh review.
Yes.
I will say I did enjoy it. It was probably, I don't remember the last time I did this, where I watched a television program of some sort without multitasking. And I don't need, Tausch is somewhere, wherever he may be, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego and Mark Tauscher, saying thank you for your service. But like when I have to write, I'll have the TV on, but I'm not closely watching it. I'm writing, and I'll look up, and whether it's a game or whether I'm playing yet another Law & Order rerun, whatever it is, it's background noise, right? Last night I watched. I was in my seat, walked the dogs. I was in my seat at 8:59. I think Taken 3 was on HBO right before this. Liam Neeson, give me back my daughter.
Got a particular set of skills. Love that.
Not a bad impression, actually.
Well, I've got the voice for it.
Can you do the rest of the show as Liam Neeson?
I don't know. I don't have the focus for that.
And I'll do the rest of the show as the Irish pirate that Mark Tauscher likes to have come in to read the pirate trivia.
You sound more like an Irish vampire.
That's not bad either. When it's supposed to be a pirate, though, I don't know how we get to Ireland. Anyway, I sat down, I watched it from start to finish, and one of the things that struck me that made me think this is going to irritate some Packers fans who do choose to watch it is that I watched him interacting with his young teammates in a very positive manner. Now, obviously, this is not every second of the video that they accrue during their time there for the first week plus of camp. I get it. I also understand that there was a moment or two where he got after people, which I'm sure there's even more of that going on because that's still part of his leadership style. But Strofe, what struck me was that it was really noticeable to me how much, in my opinion, authentically happier he is. And I thought that was reflected in his interactions with his teammates. And look, and I would, again, I would say this to his face. I just mentioned it. If Romeo Doubs feels like you barely talk to him, that's on you because you're the team leader. So I don't think he's above criticism for how he handled being on a young team last year. Just like David Bakhtiari's not above criticism for some of his handling of the youth movement that has happened around him, and he's been left behind in Green Bay. But I would argue that, and I feel like if anybody knows this guy, I feel like this is not meant as a humble brag, but I know him pretty well. That's the leader he was for the vast, vast majority of his career. Yes, he would chew guys out. Yes, he would throw his arms up in frustration during games at times. But I think more often than not, whether it's the Lucas Patrick pancake story that I've told a million times or whatever else, that he really does genuinely want to help young players. And I think if Jordan Love joined this show today from Cincinnati, which we'll get to their practice with the Bengals coming up, I think he would say that he treated him extremely well. He's told me that before. And it looks like he's doing that with Zach Wilson. So for me, I guess I was expecting the unexpected, if that's fair. Like I was expecting some sort of like, wow, that's really cool. I can't believe they did that. And basically all I got was he hung out with Liev Schreiber. So it was what I expected, so that's why it's kind of, but I still really enjoyed it. Strofe, are you in that group that looks at him and sees him interacting with these young players and getting irritated by it, or how do you view it?
Irritated's probably not the right word, but I certainly looked at it and kicked myself a little bit, right? And we've used the same analogy a million times when it comes to Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, right? He's the ex-girlfriend, essentially, and you keep an eye on it. And seeing him so happy, as you referred to, was certainly something we've missed since probably 2019, 2020, debatably, at the latest in Green Bay. And to see him, throwing the ball so damn well, Jason, that's something I miss, right? They did like the hype montage of him throwing it into the orange net or the blue net, and he's hitting every single one, and he's making just these immaculate throws. I texted you guys last night, and I said I've seen 10 wow throws, as you've kind of dubbed on Jordan Love. I've seen 10 wow throws from Aaron Rodgers in the first 10 minutes of this Hard Knocks episode. So from a football perspective, we're going to miss some really great quarterback play, and that sucks as a fan. But overall, I wasn't shocked really by anything. I was glad they made Rodgers the focal point because I think everybody, whether you're a Packers fan, a Jets fan, or a Denver Broncos fan, you're curious on this. They are the most fascinating team in football heading into the 2023 season. And I thought it was a really fun episode of Hard Knocks. But, yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of the New York Jets. I'll put it that way.
Matt, what is your default setting on Aaron Rodgers?
Big fan is the default setting. Big fan of Aaron Rodgers. Again, at least on the field watching him play football. If I'm going to parse it, yeah, a little bit. It was kind of reminding me of watching clips of Rodgers back, in the day before the drama. It looked like happy Aaron Rodgers out at training camp with his buddies in Green Bay. He was just doing it in New York, and it just goes to show that, like Strofe alluded to, you're like looking at your ex and you see that they're happy. The thing is, there's a ton, I would say the majority of Green Bay fans are happy with Jordan Love and the move we made. This is great for everybody. Aaron Rodgers got to move on, do what he wants to do, play football, be a happy camper, and be out in New York, and everyone's happy with Jordan Love, happy with the...
At least right now.
Right now, yeah, but they're happy with, his work ethic, his attitude. They like what he's doing on the football field with his teammates, so I think this is just a nice... There's no reason to have any animosity. It was just fun for me as a fan of watching Aaron Rodgers play elite-level football. It's fun for him to watch him go out and be, super happy again and see him having a good time and enjoying himself because... Like I said, I'm happy in my current situation. I don't need to. It doesn't bother me that he's also happy.
Yeah, the only other thing that I could feel inside me was that if all the people involved, Goody, Murphy, Russ Ball, Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, if they had done a better job of communicating like we did at the start of the show, how irritated we are with Jesse. We put it out there. We let him know.
Yeah, we did.
It didn't, I couldn't escape the feeling of the Packers could have done something like this to make a run at another title while he still was playing. They could have taken a similar approach, and I still believe, and I know that there are people that hate Rodgers that will say I'm shilling for him, and that's fine. I firmly believe he would have taken a pay cut if he felt like the Packers would do what the Jets are doing for him. I firmly believe that, and I think I have the history with him to back up that opinion by saying I might know what I'm talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
So that part was a little bit, it wasn't sad. I mean, I'm excited about this season too. I really like Jordan. I've said that a million times. I'm pulling for him. I don't cheer for teams. I don't care what their record is, but I do cheer for people that I like inside, and I like him, and I want him to do well. I do not want him for everyone to be trashing him by November and saying, oh, my God, this guy sucks. I don't want to see that happen to him.
Right.
And I'm fascinated by how this season is going to unspool, but, again, they've got 4 guys who've had their 30th birthday, and I do feel like there's such an excitement over the newness. And you said it. Oh, everybody's happy to have Jordan Love. You're right. Until they lose a bunch of games. And then we'll see how they feel. Yeah. And maybe that won't happen. Look, again, they could overachieve. But I watched Luke Musgrave and think this guy's going to be a really good NFL tight end. But I don't think it's going to be this year. I think he's going to have some really good moments. And he's going to have a bunch of growing pains. And that's okay. That's what rookies do. But I think you're going to have a bunch of guys having growing pains. And it's going to lead to a bunch of losses. So this year is not going to be all that fun, is what I expect. I'll be happy if I'm wrong. I do want to get to this eagle and the crow business because I love a good coach speech, man. I love that stuff. And I really I'll say this, I was impressed by Robert Saleh. Rodgers wants his, what does he call them, alphas? He does appear to be an alpha. A little bit different personality than his BFF. Matt LaFleur, because he and Saleh go way back. But I thought it was really interesting to get a glimpse of that. I just want people who didn't watch This is not Aaron Rodgers related. This is purely like, we need Tausch here because he's the king of the analogy. But I want people to hear Robert Saleh's opening training camp speech because, boy, oh boy, I didn't know this about crows. And we're going to need an aviary expert to fact-check him. That's next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Zimbrick Chevrolet.
When was the last time you had your oil changed or your tires rotated? Do you need new tires, a battery, perhaps some windshield wipers? Zimbrick Chevrolet Service Center is equipped to help you with routine maintenance, major repairs, and everything in between. Get your free battery inspection coupon and schedule an appointment today at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Don't overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie.
Main Street, Sun Prairie, Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Treat yourself to a new shower this summer. Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you over. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
ESPN Madison is on Wisconsin Sports. Catch up on anything you missed on the Varsity Podcast on Wisconsin On Demand. Brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. If you're looking to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Honda, shop local, part of the Madison community since 1973.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're injured, call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 30 years and proudly partnering with Wilde Tausch. Miss any of the show? Find it with Wisconsin On Demand. Presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Wilde Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
All right. According to the National Audubon Society, once we're done listening to this, I'm going to owe Robert Saleh an apology. So, with that admission, here is Robert Saleh addressing the Jets last night on Hard Knocks in his start of training camp speech to his players and talking about crows attacking Eagles. I hope that you have effectively done your bleeping, Strofe, before we play this.
It's on Jesse if it isn't. Here we go.
All right, now check this out. This is for everybody. All right, you can take your pens out on this one. This is a life lesson for everybody. For everybody. 3 nights ago, I was in deep thought. Deep thought. Deep thought. And I was thinking about you guys. I was thinking about all the excitement surrounding us, man. All of it. All of it. Did you know that the only bird in the world that will attack an eagle is a crow? It's a crow. It will perch on the eagle's back and peck at its neck. So rather than fight back and tearing a crow to pieces, like it can, the eagle spreads its wings and it soars as high as it possibly can. It keeps going and going and going as high as it can. And the higher the eagle flies, the harder it is for the crow to breathe. Eventually, the crow suffocates, falls back down to earth, and dies. That's what happens. Guys, we got a great deal of hype around us. We do. All kinds of expectations. And with great expectations, we know that there's going to be a whole lot of people, a whole lot of crows expecting us to fall on our face. What are you doing to find that little bit more to get us closer to being a great team? You finish practice, now what? You finish meetings, now what? Lifting, now what? A rep, now what? And if we come together and we challenge ourselves to do a little bit more every day, the crows, they'll fall by themselves. Embrace what we're capable of. Embrace the fact that we aren't the same old Jets. Embrace the fact that we do have a target on our back. Embrace the fact that when teams look at our schedule, they're not chalking us up for a W. They're coming at you. It's exactly where we want to be. And that's awesome.
Matt has left the studio. He's so fired up, he went straight to the curling facility.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get those crows off my back.
All right, before you two react to this, according to the National Audubon Society, this is everything he said there is true. Crows will attack eagles and fly on their backs. Mm-hmm. The reasons are to steal food. Apparently they let the eagle do the hard work, and then they steal the food from them. To defend their nests, to compete with them for a nesting site, or to drive them away from a source of food. So Robert Saleh, whose delivery I thought, it looked like he was maybe reading a little bit, but I thought his delivery was okay. But the analogy on the Tausch scale might do okay. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, not bad. I mean, from what I read, because I also was super intrigued by that comment. Even last night, sitting there, I paused Hard Knocks and Googled it because I was like, what crow is just going to sit there? It would just bail. And apparently that is the case. Eagles, they're trying to get away from them because they're not agile enough to attack another bird in the air like a falcon. So the eagle really can't do anything while it's flying. That said, they're faster and they can fly higher than the crows. So they're essentially just trying to get away. I'm sure this has happened. And I'm not saying it's wrong. He makes a good point. Just keep flying higher. Don't worry about the haters. That's the point. I think it's a great speech. I think it's really great for like going into camp and like let's build a mentality that we're gonna ignore the crows and we're just gonna continue to try and fly higher because eventually they're not gonna be able to hold on. Like I really get the analogy and I think it's a really good one. I don't necessarily know if they're always like landing and falling off and dying. Yeah, like he kind of alluded to, but I think it's going to be a good way for a lot of those players to kind of like visualize something and then gear up and go for it, and that's be better.
Strofe, what'd you think?
All right, Jason. I did not take the time, as Matt just so eloquently told us, to pause the episode and Google the legitimacy of Robert Saleh's claims. But as I was laying in bed last night and watching this, I thought to myself, how is anybody motivated by this?
Really?
I was kind of, and I've admitted many times, both on this program and across ESPN Wisconsin, I'm kind of an idiot. But I was sitting there and thinking, this didn't get me fired up at all. I'm thinking about crows plummeting from 400 feet in the air, and then I thought to myself, what if I'm driving down the street and a crow just lands on my windshield? Would it break? Like, that's what I was thinking about.
That is not the point of that story from Robert Saleh.
I'm well aware, but he's like,
he's probably really hoping nobody in the Jets locker room thought that way.
If they were the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe I'd get it, but they're the New York Jets, right? Like, wouldn't a jet just hit the eagle as it continues to soar in the air?
My
mind was scrambled eggs when I heard this.
Man, it just has to be literal for you.
You don't think that this fits exactly what they are?
100% I do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they don't have high expectations, that they need to put more in if they want to get to where they want to go, which is, of course, win a Super Bowl because they have a 4-time MVP quarterback that they put a bunch of investment into. But this analogy just didn't work for me. It didn't do it. I was not ready to run through a brick wall like the two of you.
I'm not sure I was ready to run through a brick wall, nor was I ready to soar like an eagle.
Yeah,
but
right.
I did think it was appropriate to what the expectations are for this team. It also got me thinking, how did Matt LaFleur handle his opening speech? Because they're kind of the crows to some degree. They're the ones. Well, maybe not. That's not a great analogy either. But I don't know how high they're soaring. What's the little bird? I see them all the time in Madison. That
Red-winged blackbird.
They run around. They run along the ground, not a road runner, but they run around the ground on kind of arid.
The grouse.
I don't know what we're doing here.
Welcome to the Bird Hour.
Yeah,
with Matt Hamilton, Jason Wilde, and Alex Strofe. Next, we'll be talking hummingbirds. Come back later. No, there's a little tiny bird that when I've been in Verona, for example, they seem to have a lot in Verona, and they're these little guys that run, and the dogs want to chase them.
Sounds like a grouse.
Is that a black-capped chickadee?
I
just looked up tiny bird, Madison, Wisconsin.
Tiny birds that run.
Okay, I'm on it.
Right, get after it, Strofe.
Jesse, who's air quotes working from home, asked if I meant a turkey.
A turkey?
Ben Wittes. Ben Wittes, ladies and gentlemen, our teammate. They're called killdeer. That's exactly what it is. Well done, Benny.
Wow.
Appreciate you. That's what the Packers are. That's the bird they are. They're running, they're trying to take off. They're baby killdeer, frankly. All right, we're not going to go any further with this bird analogy. But my point is that I thought Robert Saleh, while it may not have had you running through a brick wall, is right about how the Jets are viewed. There's no doubt about that. And whether or not they're going to fly high or not, I don't know. But the bottom line is...
Wrong button.
Jesse would have never made that mistake. He wouldn't have been in the studio to do it. All right. The bottom line is I was impressed watching him. And I'm curious, Strofe, what you thought. If you didn't like his speech, what did you think overall of... Because, look, before you answer... This is why I want the Packers to someday do Hard Knocks. You heard Rodgers, if you watched last night, talking to Liev Schreiber, saying that I think a lot of teams, he asked Rodgers flat out, why don't teams want to do this? And he said, I think they see it as a distraction. Now, I would be curious to know just how severe of a distraction it becomes for teams during training camp. But for me, I don't care that their defensive coordinator uses the F word more than any other word in the English language. That doesn't bother me.
Right.
Makes it a little bit harder for me to watch it with the girls who wanted to watch it last night. But for me, I want to see the behind the curtain. How does Matt LaFleur act when I'm not around, when he's not in a press conference? That's the kind of stuff that, as someone who's fascinated and intrigued by the Packers, I want that. So I want to see them do this at some point. And I know Mark Murphy doesn't. But I found myself thinking, how would Matt LaFleur come off? Because I thought Robert Saleh came off pretty well. You disagree with me.
I do. I'll get to that in a second. If you want the Packers on Hard Knocks, you have to cheer for them not to make the playoffs this year, and Matt LaFleur not to get fired, because then they would check all 3 boxes.
Correct.
To be eligible for next season's Hard Knocks.
Well, so you don't think I'm cheering for all 3 of those things?
just to throw that out there. So I thought Robert Saleh came off as a little bit of an ass kisser, as I thought all of the Jets staff did. Right,
and teammates.
And teammates, yeah, they were. And I understand being mesmerized as a player, maybe more so than a coach, but by Aaron Rodgers. But a lot of this episode was angled at, like, oh my goodness, like Rodgers kept calling Liev Schreiber the voice of God. I felt like the Jets players and personnel and team staff were acting like Aaron Rodgers was literally God. Right, like that was my
nice
takeaway.
Twist. That was really good.
Yeah,
that was my takeaway.
I mean, you're not wrong. Rodgers could do no wrong in that first episode of Hard Knocks for sure. Jason, you brought an interesting point. You said Rodgers said it was the reason teams don't want to do Hard Knocks, or he thinks, is potentially because it's a distraction. And I personally, I think that's like your media answer, your safe answer. That's the one you're allowed to say to the media. I think, like, deep down, and something you could never admit to, is that being on that show puts a target on your back. One, you get all this notoriety. You're going to get more media attention than any other team out there, or any of the other teams, just because you've got these cameras around constantly. You're opening yourself up to scrutiny in the social media world, and then you're also like you're just like teams are looking at you and they're like, that's the Hard Knocks team. You don't want to necessarily lose to them. I don't think teams would want to admit that they don't want to put a target on their back for between social media and other teams just wanting to beat the team that was the Hard Knocks team. I think there's something to that. This was not the year for the Packers to do Hard Knocks 100%. Just because we've got enough
no doubt
drama
totally
going
agree.
around the Packers. But I just don't see the Packers, even if we had a good situation for it, I don't know really why teams would want to do this, because it could be a distraction for sure. But I think, too, you're definitely putting a target on your back and opening yourself up to a lot of negative scrutiny.
Look, I can just say this. The main reason why the Packers never wanted to do it under Ted Thompson was very simple. He did not want the portion. The deal breaker is you have to allow a camera in when you release players. And Ted was vehemently opposed to that. He tells a great story about at the end of his NFL career. He played 10 years with the Houston Oilers. He had made the roster for his 11th season. And then a rookie draft pick, I think it was a second-round pick who had been unsigned, signs his contract. And so the Oilers have to release someone. And so they call Ted into their office, and the GM and the defensive coordinator and the linebackers coach all talk to him. And Ted, in his great self-deprecating way, used to say, by the time I was done listening to him, I thought I was getting a raise, because they all said all these nice things. But he has felt what it's like to be on the others, or had felt what it was like to be on that side of the table. And he knew how intimate of a moment that is, and he did not want it on television.
Yeah.
And that's a good reason. Yeah. I'm okay with that reason. Now, if there was a way to do it without cameras, and if you took away that excuse, I would hope the Packers would do it, because I do think there's a lot of value in it. But I would love to see it. I may never see it. But you're right. If they don't win, they don't make the playoffs this year, LaFleur still keeps his job. The two things that can keep you out of being on Hard Knocks are making the playoffs and having a new head coach. And if you've had 2 consecutive losing seasons and you still have the same head coach, you are eligible for Hard Knocks. Can't wait for 2024 and the Packers on Hard Knocks.
Hey!
We'll talk more about Stroh's fear of Hard Knocks, and we'll shift gears as the Packers get ready for their practice with the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Still ahead, it's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com. You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Former Wisconsin offensive lineman and Badger great Joe Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend for his contributions with the Cleveland Browns during his time in the NFL, and thanked his Badgers coaches for their contributions to his football career.
To my Badger coaches, Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ, you guys helped turn an 18-year-old boy who was 250 pounds into a man. You showed me how to be a teammate that people could count on. You always said, count on me. And that was my motto, still is my motto to this day.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Set summer in motion with the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and Accord, with available hybrid powertrains designed to deliver more thrilling performance and more innovative tech. Summer's here. Make every adventure more electrifying with Honda, the most awarded brand in Car and Driver 10 Best history.
See your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin.
See dealer for financing details.
Olson Toon has been customizing both residential and commercial outdoor living spaces since 1997. Matt Hamilton here from ESPN Madison. For over 50 years of combined experience in their management and design teams, Olson Toon has become one of Wisconsin's premier building and landscaping outdoor living firms. Landscaping and maintenance, irrigation, concrete work, pools, and more. If you have an outdoor living need, Olson Toon is here to help. Go to olsontoon.com to get started on your home project today. That's olsontoon.com.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Dash the Dane. That's right, Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company has expanded their delivery offerings with DoorDash. New customers get $5 off your first order of $25 or more. And don't forget, Dash Pass subscribers always receive free delivery. Order delivery today at GreatDanePub.com or on the DoorDash app and get food delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 7th. Position players, pitchers, and catchers can showcase their skills for over 40 college coaches scheduled to attend. Registration is open to all players in the 2024 to 27 graduating years, and spots are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Sign up today at grbacademy.com. That's grbacademy.com. Rays Baseball, raise your game.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Hey, this is Craig Karmazin, founder of Good Karma Brands. Join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning from 10 to noon for Sunday Karma here on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
All right, let's shift gears here, and I'm going to use some news from the NFL about the Jets to do so. Sauce Gardner is not going to take part in the first day of joint practices between the Jets and the Carolina Panthers in beautiful Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I am starting to wonder, and I just saw a tweet from a couple of my colleagues that are in Cincinnati. There's some uncertainty about how many one-on-ones will be performed during practice, both with wide receivers versus defensive backs and offensive linemen versus defensive linemen and edge rushers. And if there's no Jair Alexander against Jamar Chase, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people in the stands in Cincinnati. But the Packers are having their one joint practice with the Bengals And then they have 2 joint practices next week with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, who will be on to Green Bay. Matt, do you ever have joint practices with your fellow Olympic hopeful curling squads?
That's funny you mentioned that. So I had brought up that I was just at training camp, and like a lot of these teams are going on right now. While we were up there, we had opportunities to use some really interesting tools that we use for curling, like they're like
tools.
Yeah, so there's like
I just
cameras.
thought you used a broom.
Yeah, right. There is. It is a broom when you're playing, but when you're practicing, there's ways that you can use, like you use a laser and that's your target, like I'm throwing at it. And when you throw it, I can watch on a camera how I'm throwing it and where it's coming out. And then when we sweep, we can see how that rock is affected by the sweeping where the laser stays in the rock. So we got a lot of really interesting tools. We had a broom that took like had pressure sensors in it and could measure how fast we were moving it. So really fantastic tools. But in addition to those tools, we did have a scrimmage against one of the women's teams, which was a great little.
How'd you do?
Actually, they won. But I mean, granted, it wasn't a scrimmage game. We would say like, okay, we're down. Our team is down 2 with 2 to play, and then started. So it was like scenario play. And then it was like, okay, your team is down 2 with 2 to play, and we played 6 or 8 innings. They won more of them though.
All right, am I the only one that right now totally is ready to junk the show sheet and totally nerd out on the technology that's being used by our Olympic gold medal curler to find out more about what kind of contraptions he's using at practice? Am I the only one?
So, Jason, you don't have the wonderful opportunity to work with Matt Hamilton on a daily basis. So I understand.
I didn't sense a lick of sarcasm in that
No,
comment.
work from home.
Yeah, right. So I understand where you're coming from, but I'm going to be honest. I'd probably rather talk about joint practices in the upcoming preseason game on Friday.
Well,
curling is a lot
enough.
like fantasy football. Nobody cares about your team or your league.
It's my golden rule, Matt. Well done. That's the first rule I ever told Matt when he got into radio. Nobody gives a damn about your fantasy football team.
That's a good rule.
I've applied curling to that now.
What about my curling fantasy? What about my fantasy curling team?
Me and Jason are in a 3-year
start a league.
rivalry. Yeah.
Just the 2 of you, the only 2 fantasy curling players out there.
I call my team I Got Stones.
That was bad.
And Strofe is the Legion of Brooms.
The Legion of Broom.
I'm sorry. That may be the best segment of the show. We can talk about joint practices all you want. The Legion of Broom. That's good. Much better than I Got Stones. All right. Despite my desire to learn more about the technology behind your Olympic gold medalist nature, we will move on and we will talk Packers-Bengals. They will kick off their joint practice this afternoon, shortly after we get off the air, in Cincinnati. We will talk about that, the perils and the advantages to kick off the 10 o'clock hour. That happens in 2 minutes with Matt Hamilton as our cousin sub of the day for Tausch, Alex Strofe as our cousin sub of the day for Jesse. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Yeah, it is. And I'm Alex Strofe. Your Sports Center update brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Graslandbutter.com. Just 2 days away from the first preseason game of 3 for the Green Bay Packers as they head to Cincinnati to take on the Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati Bengals, and the first joint practice of 3 this preseason for the Packers later today against the Cincinnati Bengals. The question still remains, though, what exactly is Jordan Love and how much will he play in the preseason? Well, that is to be determined. Jordan Love joined Peter King on NBC yesterday and talked about building chemistry with the young receiving corps of the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just reps for those guys, just getting those reps, getting familiar with the plays, how they come in and what they need to be doing on those plays. But, it's awesome for them. They've been getting a lot of reps since OTAs, reps with the ones that, are huge for them and better.
Continued coverage on all things green and gold leading up to Friday's preseason game over at ESPNWisconsin.com. A brutal 10th inning last night for the Milwaukee Brewers leads to a 7-4 loss to the Colorado Rockies. They wrap up that series this afternoon, 1:10 p.m.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or MetroKiaofMadison.com.
Just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde Tausch with Matt Hamilton and Alex Strofe in as our cousin sub of the day in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios begins now, and it begins with me reading from the Wisconsin State Journal on the radio. Everybody loves it when I do this.
I love it. Can't wait.
It's like a bedtime story, but stay awake because we still have 2 hours to go. As Bill Belichick once famously said, the Green Bay Packers were on to Cincinnati on Tuesday. The team traveled to the Queen City for their Wednesday joint practice with the Cincinnati Bengals and the 2 teams' subsequent preseason game at Paycor Stadium on Friday, with head coach Matt LaFleur believing that the NFL's recent training camp trend towards such practices will benefit his young team immensely. Even 5-time All-Pro left tackle / resident get-off-my-lawn grumpy old man David Bakhtiari had to admit as much, despite his distaste for the concept in general. I don't trust you to hit the bleep button, so I'm just going to say, I could give a blank.
Wow.
Really? I would prefer to stay here the entire time. I don't really care for joint practices, Bakhtiari said before the team departed. But especially with a young team, I like getting our young guys playing against other players and getting used to that, especially with the lack of preseason games. So I think it's a huge, good takeaway. Now, the reason I read that, Matt, is because if even David Bakhtiari, who in the beginning of that sentence can say that he doesn't like these, can say how valuable it is for this team, I thought that told me a hell of a lot about how valuable this must be for this team. And the idea of them going up against the Bengals in practice today and then playing this preseason game, we'll get to how preseason is apparently going to look and how much Jordan Love may or may not play in a minute. But this sounds to me like something that if David Bakhtiari can get on board, everyone should be on board with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity for these young players to go up against guys that aren't on their team. Like, it's probably not game speed, but neither guy wants to get burned. So I think it's probably everyone's going a little bit harder than they would in a normal practice against their Packer counterpart. So I do like this. It does add a little bit of juice to it. And even if it isn't like an 11-on-11 and they're just doing 7-on-7s or even just some 1-on-1 drills, this is times for players they're going to want to beat them. You're going to see a lot closer to game speed 100% right now during practice than you're going to see the rest of the practice time until they get out on like an NFL football field. This is a great opportunity for these young guys.
I mulled going. There were some logistical challenges that made it unrealistic. If I was there, though, Strofe, the number one thing I want to see is how Jordan Love does against somebody else's defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm eager to hear what the reports are from Rob Domofsky and Bill Huber and the crew that did go, because Look, and you brought this up when we were talking about Hard Knocks earlier in the show, which we're not going to discuss anymore for a handful of people that are sick of it. All the
text line's been quiet today.
All the throws that Rodgers was making, and me talking about my quote-unquote wow throws, and again, the nice people at NFL Films are not editing together a montage of plays where he and Mecole Hardman are not on the same page and it's an incomplete pass. But Jordan Love has a much lower threshold for me to view something as a wow throw or a really, really good throw that Rodgers makes look routine. And I know Homer and I went back and forth on whether a wow throw should be a wow throw, whether you're Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love. But for me, when you're as great as Rodgers is, those throws become routine. And that's part of the reason why people are so happy that he's gone, because they no longer appreciate how special his accuracy and his ability were. If you did watch Hard Knocks last night, you saw their defensive coordinator do what Tausch has told stories of Packers coaches doing about Rodgers' throws. Stopping and rewinding the tape and playing it again and playing it again. There was a throw where he threw across the field to a back shoulder throw that the defensive coordinator, with 3 F words mixed into his review, said, no human does that.
Yeah. He's like, you guys did nothing wrong here. It was great coverage, great setup, but Rodgers just does what Rodgers does. And he basically said, if we go out and do that and be competitive like this, we're going to win a lot of games, because not every quarterback is going to be able to make those throws on a, like he was saying, a well-placed defense.
And Jordan Love isn't able to make those throws yet. Now, will he evolve to get to that point? Because Aaron Rodgers wasn't making all those throws his first year as a starter either.
Right.
Now, there were more wow throws, in my opinion, then than there are so far, but I think Jordan Love has made steady progress. But, Strofe, my point was, what are they going to do against a pretty good defense? And what is he going to do? They're still not live, so he's not going to get hit. There's still going to be fail-safes in place to keep him protected, obviously. But to me, this is like a major milepost in evaluating where he is this summer.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And I'm curious on your thoughts, Jason, because you've been around the league a lot longer than a lot longer than me, and also longer than I've been alive. But I'm curious, do you view...
Was that necessary?
That was a shot.
Well, I talked myself into it. I apologize.
Why?
That was unnecessary.
Wildy's just sitting in his own little home studio catching strays from
home.
He was having a sip of coffee. I was kind of hoping for a spit take there.
He's nice enough to throw you a bone, and he catches a stray for it?
I'm sorry,
So
Hold on. Can I get to my point,
No,
please?
you can't.
No, you ruined it.
Just to recap, I go to a Trader Joe's, and I make my purchase there. The kid behind the counter, I tell him that the song that's playing, that he was trying to figure out who it was Matchbox 20, and he nails me with, yeah, my mom loves Matchbox 20. And now I got you pointing out that I've covered the league longer than you've been on the planet. What did I ever do to you two people?
Rob Thomas is terrific.
Yeah, I know. You chimed in with that. And your parents loved his music, too. I know.
I don't know that they did. I certainly have always loved Matchbox 20. I'm curious from your perspective, though, Jason, in all seriousness. Do you view the joint practices as more productive than a couple series in a preseason game for a guy like Jordan Love specifically?
So, a great question, despite the ageism that was included in it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think that coaches are now very much trending toward believing that statement. I think it's a risk-reward calculation, right? And to me, the greatest reward will be if you are running your stuff as you would run it in a regular season game. And what I mean by that is, and I've told this story, I mentioned it in my story in the State Journal this morning as well. Look, Aaron Rodgers could be difficult. I get it. I get the frustration that the organization had with him at times. But in 2019, the Packers had their first joint practices with another team since 2005. So Rodgers was a rookie in 2005, and the Buffalo Bills came to Green Bay, and they had a practice together or two practices together, and then they did family night as a real scrimmage. Okay? And that was not commonplace. That was once in a while some teams would do this, but it was not what it is now, which is happening all the time. So in 2019, the Houston Texans come to Green Bay, and we all know that Rodgers thought it was a waste of time. But we have to acknowledge why Aaron Rodgers thought it was a waste of time. It was because Matt LaFleur, who I think if Matt's having a couple of Coors Lights would admit is a little more paranoid than your average NFL coach, and most NFL coaches, their default setting is paranoid. They're going against a Houston Texans defense that has Chuck Pagano's brother on the staff. Now you may say, well, who the hell cares about Chuck Pagano's brother? Well, Matt LaFleur did, because Chuck Pagano was the defensive coordinator at the time for the Chicago Bears. The Green Bay Packers were opening the 2019 season at Soldier Field against the Chicago Bears. And Matt admitted it at the time, he held back his playbook out of fear that if he showed too much, that Chuck Pagano's brother would tell Chuck Pagano what they were running. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what pissed Rodgers off.
I mean, that makes sense. I buy that.
They also don't stream Family Night on the internet, so let's be realistic here. Now, subsequently, they were going to have joint practices with the Browns in 2020, but those were canceled because of COVID. 2021, they did it with the Jets. Last year, they did it with the Saints, and now this year, they've got 1 with the Bengals and 2 with the Patriots. If you run your stuff, then yes, I think this is more valuable because you mitigate the risk to your quarterback, and they're not sharing the film of these practices with your prospective opponents, as opposed to if you run your real stuff in preseason games, it's out there for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why everything's vanilla in the preseason. So if you can actually practice the calls that you're going to call when the games start to count, and your quarterback can't get hit, there's no doubt this is more valuable.
Not to mention you can run back plays. If there's a mistake.
Do it again.
Yeah, like that's super valuable.
So, Stroh, for you, and again, I love the preseason. I know that's people, whatever. Yeah. I watched into the fourth quarter of the Hall of Fame game. Now, Aaron Rodgers talked for like 20 minutes of the third quarter, so there wasn't a whole lot of focus on what was happening on the game on the broadcast. But I like the stories of the guys that are trying to beat the odds. You know, a scrappy kid named Matt Hamilton chasing his Olympic dream. Mm-hmm. Like those guys, I love that stuff. And the Packers have a bunch of those guys on this team. So I want to watch that. But from an actual productivity standpoint, I think these joint practices are the best thing that has happened to NFL coaches, as long as you use them the way they're intended. And in 2021 with the Jets, Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur are best friends. Saleh wasn't going to take everything he saw and then call Kyle Shanahan, who they were playing in like week 3 or 4, and say, oh, hey, Kyle, all right, when they run this, when they're in this set, they're going to run a toss sweep. Like, if you're able to put your time to good use, these are great, and you don't have to put your quarterback in harm's way. Now, the question I would ask you, Strofe, as a big Packers fan, is should this influence how much Jordan Love plays in the preseason?
Oh, probably.
So give that answer some thought.
Well, Matt's shaking his head vehemently. So did I use that word correctly? I think I did.
Vehemently.
Yeah. Vehemently. Is there an H in vehement?
There is, yes. Yeah, but I don't think you
say it again.
Hit it as hard as you might have there.
Anyway,
vehemently. I would vehemently say let's take a break and continue this conversation about how the joint practices with the Bengals and then subsequently with the Patriots should influence Jordan Love's playing time in the preseason. We'll have that conversation next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Grassland Dairy is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin and sustained by innovation. Since 1904, the Wheatrick family has worked with hundreds of dairy farmers to consistently produce the highest quality dairy products. Grassland's commitment to quality starts with the way their dairy farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of their innovative processing and delivery. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable and nutritious dairy ingredients. Grassland Dairy is family owned in Wisconsin and has been crafting butter for 5 generations.
I'm coming! Hi, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming!
Shoo, you need Pella's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens, protecting you from nature.
Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with hidden screens as low as $188 per month. PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
If you're looking to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Honda, buy local. Shop Zimbrick Honda. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Oil changes, brakes, alignments, and warranties. Honda's certified technicians handle it all. And if you need new tires, buy 3 and get the 4th for just $1 when they mount and balance them for you. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Take the long, strange trip with Scalzo and Brust. Weekdays from 4 to 6.
She bought a trash can with a cover.
That's because that was a better option for her at your place that she was staying.
Where am I supposed to put my wipes?
You know, I don't even go to the bathroom in your house because all I can think of is there's just poop in your trash.
There's not poop. Yes, there is.
What is it?
Leftovers.
Subscribe to the Scalzo and Brust podcast free on the Wisconsin On Demand app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Investing in commercial real estate is never simple. From acquiring a property to managing the day-to-day, even the best investors need a partner they can trust. Rely on the agents at RE/MAX and the Preferred Commercial Group to build your desired lifestyle in real estate. Whether you want someone to take the wheel or just need a second opinion, head to commercialwisconsin.com/ESPN and find an investment partner to lead the way to your property dreams today. That's commercialwisconsin.com/ESPN.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust for Road America. Make the most out of your summer at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Slow down your summer and take in some high-speed thrill at Elkhart Lakes Road America. The race season is still going strong. Don't miss a minute of the fun. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. The SRO GT World Challenge features exotic sports car racing at Road America August 18th through the 20th. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just wanna use your love tonight. I don't wanna lose your love tonight. I ain't got many friends left to talk to. Nowhere to run when I'm in trouble. You know I do anything for you.
All right, Strofe. I interrupted you because I wanted to keep my reputation as a good clock manager. Because apparently that goes against the reputation I've cultivated when the Packers Hall of Famer is on the program. And deservedly so. We're terrible at that. Now, I want to be clear. I want as much Jordan Love as humanly possible. I want him to play into the third quarter of every preseason game. Because I want to watch, I want to see as much as I can. But I am also, as I like to call myself, a helicopter parent and a helicopter beat writer. I don't want him to get hurt because I want him to play all 17 games so we have a full complement of one full NFL season to base our judgments on him. Because we all have our opinions on him. We all have our expectations, our skepticism, or our optimism on him. I want a whole year of NFL regular season football, and I'd love a bonus playoff game for him to get to play in one of those to see what he is. So despite my desire now to see a lot of them in preseason in the short term, because I want to see him in games, I'm all for having him get most of his reps in the joint practices and having him play a series or two against the Bengals, a series or two against the Patriots, and not play at all against the Seahawks. Where are you at, Strofe?
I'm pretty close to where you're at with the 3 joint practices. But I disagree. Did you say Seahawks is the third and final preseason game?
Correct.
He's got to play, right? That's the final note with Jordan Love. He has to play. So I don't know what that means in terms of snap count or series count or quarter count. But what are you laughing at?
No. Continue your take.
Okay.
I got a rebut.
A rebut.
He's holding his piddle so he can rebut.
So he can rebut. Very well done. I just view it as he needs to play. We need to see him. He needs reps. And I use the clip in my Sports Center update at the top of the hour if you're watching on the stream or listening on ESPN Madison of the reps that he's talking about with the receivers. But he's another guy that needs a ton of reps. So the joint practices are positive. But so are the preseason games. And I understand the risk of injury. And I think a lot of Packers fans and maybe even some of the staff has PTSD from 2015 when Jordy Nelson tore his ACL in Pittsburgh, right? So I get that, and it's a fair concern. But Jordan Love needs to play, and we need as many reps as he can get. But I have a hard time believing that'll happen. I think what you said, Jason, will probably be about what it is. 1 or 2 series this week, maybe a quarter next week, maybe not at all against Seattle, but I would hope closer to a half against Seattle if I was deciding.
Mr. Hamilton, your rebuttal.
So, first of all, I think yesterday Strofe was much more on board with first quarter minimum for the first 2 games.
You think I'm influencing him?
I think you influenced him just a tiny little bit.
I didn't even work with you yesterday.
What? We chatted about it though.
Did we?
Yeah, me and you had a conversation. You're like, I would love to see at least a quarter. Maybe
I
a
would.
half.
I
Maybe
would. He
2
needs
halves.
to play. I don't.
Right.
I agree.
And I was in this boat that I was like, keep him off the field. I don't need to see him in any preseason games. These practices are the most important. We literally got rid of our most experienced backup quarterback. The guy who has the best handle on the offense, besides Jordan Love, was Danny Etling. He's gone. We got a guy who's been here for 2 weeks and a rookie who has seen the playbook for one half of an offseason. If Jordan Love gets injured, we are done. And the idea of him playing the week before the regular season, 0 chance. You might just tweak an ankle and not be 100% by the next week. If he has a small injury, 2-3 weeks for time recovery, he's got a shot at playing, no big deal. He can maybe go these first 2 preseason games. But there is no way he should even get suited up for that Seattle game because we need Jordan Love on the field if we are even going to sniff the playoffs. So that's just my thought on it. Even though he does need reps, I'd rather go in with a guy who does not quite have the reps, but at least have our number 1 guy on the field.
Yeah, I can't get down with that. I need to see him, right? And I
he's
understand
going to get
your
regular
concern.
season reps. I just can't have him.
I understand that, but I'd rather have him geared up to win a Week 1 game rather than just getting his feet wet in a Week 1 game.
I know.
And you're right on the joint practices. They are important. I'm glad they're doing 3 of them versus the typical 1 or 2. 2 different teams, right? He's going to get a lot of different defensive looks, but the guy needs to play. And I would be fine if he played a half of all 3 preseason games and took the majority of the reps in all 3 joint practices. And if he stays healthy, I am thrilled. But I think the truth is going to lie somewhere in the middle.
I could guarantee he's healthy, I would absolutely 100% be on board with a half each.
Yeah.
Each of the preseason games. And
me
the thing
too.
is, you can't guarantee health. And if you can go 99% guarantee health in a joint practice, but, obviously have no control in a preseason game, you're going to just roll the dice with your safe practice as opposed to putting literally the linchpin of the Packers this season is Jordan Love. Now, he could be on the field and we could still struggle, but if he's not on the field, we are done. So like that, it's not worth the risk for me.
Strofe, here's my question for you. If it plays out, and look, I want to take calls on this. We got to get to Homer first because I want to get where Homer's at on this as well. But can you imagine the catastrophe it would be if he plays in a preseason game, eludes a pass rush, and gets seriously injured, like ACL tear, and now he misses the season, and you have no idea. And look, I understand that I am hypersensitive to this. I was in Pittsburgh in 2015. Mm-hmm. That was back during my time where I covered every game, home, road, preseason, regular season, playoffs, the whole deal. For me, that is the worst case scenario, because now you get a whole nother year of not knowing what the hell Jordan Love is.
Yeah.
And so for me, that, even though, what's the chance of that? 1% chance? That 1% chance for me is enough to say, we can't risk it. We need to find out about this kid in games that count. And if we're not going to run, it all goes back for me to, can you run all of the things in the playbook? Because if you just do vanilla stuff on your end and against the other team's vanilla stuff, like, you don't think that he's going to get the blank blitzed out of him this season? Like, that's what you do against a young quarterback. Are we going to see that in preseason games? No, we're not. So to me, you're not going to get an honest accounting of how far along he is anyway. But you're right. He needs the work. And game reps are different. Yep. But the risk is also different.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with that, but there should also be a point where Jordan Love should not be in a position where he's getting hit in the preseason, right? I'd rather see him throw the ball away 10 times out of 10.
So you're going to play Bakhtiari for every snap that
no.
Jordan Love's on the field?
No. I trust Josh Nijman to fill that left tackle role in the preseason. Bakhtiari should not see a snap, and I feel that way about a couple of guys, right? Like Jair Alexander's another guy I feel like I don't think he needs the reps. When it comes to Jordan Love, I firmly believe he, maybe more than anybody else on the team, and that's saying a lot given the inexperience on offense, needs the reps. He just does.
I don't disagree with you, Strofe, but the juice ain't worth the squeeze if...
And I understand that.
It's like Tausch is here.
I know. I love Tausch's line there. That's why I did it. An homage to my favorite sports star that is also a radio host. Sorry,
right.
Rust.
We will... he's not listening anyway. All right. We need to get to Uncle Homer. I think people have opinions on this, and you can text in for now on the talk and text line, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. We'll get to some of your calls, but we got to talk to Homer first. Want to remind you, I was thinking about this yesterday because I saw a great Associated Bank billboard. It said, what did it say? It said, branches don't make a bank local, roots do. So it doesn't matter how many branches they have, and they have a lot, but they're rooted here in Wisconsin. They started right here in Green Bay. They've been with the Packers since before the Packers existed. They were there when the Packers began. And they still remain with the Packers today as the official bank of the Packers and, on a much smaller scale, the official bank of the Wildes. Check out AssociatedBank.com/Packers. I don't think they have AssociatedBank.com/Wilde because I don't even know what they put on that page. But on AssociatedBank.com/Packers, you'll find out about all the great perks that come with Packers checking. Packers Debit MasterCard, 10% off at the Pro Shop, both in-store and online, and other great perks as well. So check out Associated Bank. They've got the best customer service in the industry. I've experienced it for myself. AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Uncle Homer joins us next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of the Big Win and Madison Casino Guru, is transforming guests into winners. Making an ordinary day into a big win day is easy with a 95% average payout. And with over 140 daily jackpots, the number of people winning has never been bigger. So what are you waiting for? Escape to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison for your next big win.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Olson Toon has been customizing both residential and commercial outdoor living spaces since 1997. Matt Hamilton here from ESPN Madison. For over 50 years of combined experience in their management and design teams, Olson Toon has become one of Wisconsin's premier building and landscaping outdoor living firms. Landscaping and maintenance, irrigation, concrete work, pools, and more. If you have an outdoor living need, Olson Toon is here to help. Go to olsontoon.com to get started on your home project today. That's olsontoon.com.
Homer on Wilde Tausch is presented by Olson Toon. Since their founding in 1997, Olson Toon has become one of Wisconsin's premier design, build, landscaping, and outdoor living firms. Go to olsontoon.com to get started on your outdoor living project today.
Whatever you do, make sure you do it right.
You know what that music means? Although we're efforting on him at the moment. You hear him every weekday from 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee with the Marquette Hall of Famer, Tony Smith. So I do that show every day at 2:15 with the Marquette Hall of Famer, Tony Smith. I do this show when he's not on vacation with the Packers Hall of Famer, Mark Tauscher. Are you in a Hall of Fame of any sort?
No.
You got to wait till you're retired.
Hall of
before you
Fame
go
in
into
my
the
own
curling.
mind.
Curling Hall of Fame, cottage cheese testing Hall of Fame, nothing?
Yeah, nothing yet. No Hall of Fames yet. We'll see. Hope I'd love to make it into one someday.
Well, you're a Hall of Famer in my book, buddy. You can also hear Homer, of course, on the Marquette Men's Basketball Radio Network. I saw the crew from Marquette was out at our ESPN Milwaukee Delzer Open at the Bog yesterday, so it was great to see Marquette and their crew out there. And, of course, you can always catch Homer on God Talk with Homer and Pip, My Faith, on YouTube. Where you can't catch him at the moment is on Wilde Tausch because we're having trouble connecting with him. So we will work on that.
I do have a question in relation to Homer, though. You said last time you guys were chatting, you were discussing wow throws and the difference between a wow throw and Jordan Love and a wow throw with Aaron Rodgers. Was his take that a wow throw should just be a wow throw, and your take was like, I tamper expectations depending on the person?
Yeah, so his argument was that I should not grade on any sort of curve. Like, I should define a wow throw as a wow throw, whether it's thrown by Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, or Matt Hamilton coming to practice and playing catch with, Jaden Reed. I was trying to think of an obscure wide receiver, and unfortunately Jaden Reed's a second-round pick, so he's not exactly obscure. But, yeah, he thinks it should be defined as it's a throw that makes you go wow, and doesn't matter who throws it. Now, and my point to him is...
That's not fair.
And the things that... Look, and it's not... Well, to some degree, maybe it is fair in that maybe I'm being unfair to Aaron Rodgers for saying that his throws don't deserve to be wow throws, even if Jordan Love makes the same throw, because I expect more from Aaron Rodgers because he's one of the all-time greats. I see the argument. Yeah. This is part of my problem. This is why I'm not good at radio, because I don't have a strong enough conviction on things. I see both sides most of the time, and I see his point.
That's
at
my
the same
problem
time,
too, Jason.
Good. Well, welcome to our show, which isn't that good.
The both sides boys.
That actually sounds like a good idea. We should do a podcast together.
Yeah.
So, like, he's not wrong, but at the same time, like, when I watch Jordan Love, the things the example I used was that he had the first wow throw for me for training camp for Jordan Love. 3rd and 3, 2-minute drill, puts the ball right in stride to Samori Toure up the left sideline for a 33-yard gain. It's a great throw that Rasul Douglas, who's in coverage, can't get to, and Darnell Savage, who's the safety that's closing on the ball, can't get to either. We call it a hole shot because it's in the hole between those two defenders.
Okay.
It was a great catch, great throw. I said, wow, on the sideline when I saw it happen. If Aaron Rodgers makes that throw, I'm kind of like, yep, that's what Aaron Rodgers does. And so whether or not that's fair, we can have a debate, but that's just how it is. Like, fair or not, that's how my brain is processing what I see from Jordan Love.
And I'm not saying it's fair as a guy evaluating the players. I'm saying Homer's not being fair to you because you're a guy you literally sat and watched Aaron Rodgers for 18 years have these throws. And, like, over time, it's human nature to become accustomed to things. And even if something remarkable is happening every single day, you get used to it. I mean, just think about it. We are able to take a plane, a jet full of people, thousands and thousands of pounds, and fly it across the world. We do not find that impressive anymore, but the Wright brothers would be blown away by that. It's all perspective. Jason, you're watching a legend throw it for 18 years, and now you're watching a guy who doesn't have that experience do it. It is not for him to tell you that you're not being fair. You just have a different perspective now because you're now watching someone who's not literally going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I just feel like Rodgers made the difficult look easy.
I mean, that's what the best players do, right? Like, the best players ever across any sport make the extremely difficult, near impossible seem like routine. And that's Jordan Love might get to that point or to a degree of that point one day, but right now he's not there. So I don't think it's unfair to you to be like, I'm not getting all these wow throws. It's like fresh eyes might see wow throws, but you watched a guy who is an absolute legend, a stud, make wow throws day in and day out. it's tough for you to reset your expectations. I don't think he's being fair to you.
Make wow throws day in, day out to the point that they no longer made me say wow.
Yeah.
Because they became so commonplace. And for Jordan at this point, those aren't. We hadn't heard from Owen Wilson in a while, so it's good to hear from him. All right, here's what we're going to do, because I think we're on different pages with Homer. I know Strofe had a bunch of calls lined up on this Jordan Love playing in the preseason. I was looking forward to asking Homer what he thought of that. But let's ask you, 844-770-3776. We'll push Homer into tomorrow, and we'll talk to him tomorrow instead. Let's talk to you, 844-770-3776. I think this is a fascinating debate. Play him or don't play him. But in the end, I'm not going to say I think Strofe's an idiot, because that's way too strong. But
it's way too easy.
Yeah, go for it. It's fine.
No. You don't deserve an idiot rank for this. I mean, a lot of other things, but not this.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I'm just more risk-averse than you are. I'm just not willing to put him in harm's way because of what's at stake. And I'm not talking about them going 6-11 or 7-10. Like, I'm talking about finding out if this guy is good enough or not. I want 17 games of him, and I don't want to miss out on that because I played him in a game that doesn't count in the standings.
Yeah.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Maybe this is two separate questions, because for me, do you want to see Jordan Love in the preseason? Abso-frickin-lutely. I want to see him play it all.
Yeah.
Do you think he should play in the preseason? No, absolutely not.
That's the right way to word it. Because I would love to see him play. Like you, I want to know where he's going to stack up as a professional NFL quarterback, but the risk of injury is scary.
And again, I understand. I was in Pittsburgh. I saw Jordy Nelson, and that remember what that 2015 team was. They're coming off melting down in Seattle. They should have been in the Super Bowl in 2014. So 2015, they come in, and Jordy Nelson is coming off of a season in which he had 1,500 yards receiving. He led the NFL in touchdown catches. I mean, he was a first-team All-Pro. He was at the top of his game. And Randall Cobb had also had a 1,000-yard-plus season. They both had caught, including playoffs, over 100 passes that year. They were locked and loaded.
Yeah.
And then if Davante Adams, who had good moments as a rookie in 14, doesn't have to play the way he played in 15 and is just a complimentary third guy, that offense would have been scary. And Eddie Lacy had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Like, there was a chance 15 could have been a huge year for these guys. Instead, it was a huge disappointment, and it all started with losing their best wide receiver in a game that didn't count. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Do you want Jordan Love to play in the preseason? Do you think he should play extensively in the preseason? I think he's going to play some. I think you'll see him on Friday night for a couple series. But that's it. And that is the most that I want to see him. How about you? 844-770-3776 with Alex Strofe and Matt Hamilton as our cousin subs of the day in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Don't undervalue the importance of routine maintenance of your vehicle. There's no better vehicle service team in the Madison area than the team I trust over at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Get a tune-up, check the battery, check your tires, change the oil, and make sure all the inner workings of your vehicle are in tip-top shape so you can focus on the fun of getting from place to place for whatever your next adventure holds and not allowing vehicle trouble to disrupt you. Whether it's routine maintenance or an emergency issue, the service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet gets the job done right and works with you every step of the way. Their service department is truly second to none. Schedule a service appointment, view vehicle inventory, and learn more about all they have to offer at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. That's ZimbrickChevrolet.com. You take my word for it. Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie is the name you can trust.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Stoughton Trailers. Big trailers and big opportunity at Stoughton Trailers. Positions now open in production, operations, finance, sales, engineering, supply chain, and more. To apply today, go to stojobs.com. Former Wisconsin offensive lineman and Badger great Joe Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend for his contributions with the Cleveland Browns during his time in the NFL, and thanked his Badgers coaches for their contributions to his football career.
To my Badger coaches, Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ, you guys helped turn an 18-year-old boy who's 250 pounds into a man. You showed me how to be a teammate that people could count on. You always said, count on me, and that was my motto, still is my motto to this day.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking. By you. Donate at V.org. Because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Grassland Dairy is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin and sustained by innovation. Since 1904, the Wietrich family has worked with hundreds of dairy farmers to consistently produce the highest quality dairy products. Grassland's commitment to quality starts with the way their dairy farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of their innovative processing and delivery. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable and nutritious dairy ingredients. Grassland Dairy is family owned in Wisconsin and has been crafting butter for 5 generations.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Check yes, Juliet, are you with me? Rain is falling down on the sidewalk. I won't go until you come outside.
844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Preseason is upon us. Packers practicing today with the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati in a joint practice. They start preseason action, the first of their 3 preseason games, on Friday night at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. How much should Jordan Love play? We all agree we want to see him. We all want to see him. But how much should he play? 844-770-3776. Let's get to your calls. Let's start with Mario in Madison. Mario, thanks for calling back, buddy. What do you got?
Hey, yeah, so, I mean, as a fan, I want to see Jordan Love play as much football as possible, but I don't want him out there if Elton's not going to be out there, Brock's not going to be out there, and Jones ain't going to be out there. Because I want this to be a confident builder for him and not out there with a bunch of backups.
Ooh.
That's all I had to say, and I don't trust that turf in Cincinnati either. But,
Ooh,
that's all I have to say.
No,
Thanks,
Mario,
guys.
Mario, that's another really good point that I guess I wasn't even. I was too busy being helicopter beat writer. How accurate of a depiction do you get of him if you're playing without your two best offensive linemen? I don't know where Elton's at, but it is an artificial turf surface in Cincinnati, right? I believe it is.
And Bach doesn't like that.
Right. No. Yeah, he's made, as David Bakhtiari is wont to do, he is very clear about his opinion about a myriad of things, including artificial turf. So yeah, but I hadn't even thought of that angle, and thanks for the call, Mario. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
How accurate of a depiction of Love do you get if he's playing with backup offensive linemen, and look, I like Tyler Goodson, who I think should be their number 3 running back. I think he's got some Aaron Jones to him, but he's not Aaron Jones yet.
Right.
So how does that affect your ability to evaluate him? The only thing I would push back on is you are still going to be playing with the same wide receivers because all those guys need the work too. And because they don't have any veteran wide receivers who would qualify for not playing, you're probably going to play some of those guys. But again, I hadn't thought about it from that side of the coin, Matt, and that's a good point.
It's interesting. You got because like you mentioned, you got the vanilla offense, vanilla defense, and now B-team O-line and B-team running backs, which I don't know. He makes a good point. That's not only are we not going to see like real game plays, we'll see like base versions of it, nothing tricky going on. Same with the defense. We're also going to have like some B's out there. I don't know how like beneficial it is. Preseason seems more like a build confidence thing, not necessarily how are we getting better after a preseason game.
And at the same time, let's, in the interest of full disclosure, point out that arguably the best quarterback in football plays some in the preseason. Patrick Mahomes plays in preseason. Now, he doesn't play a lot, and you could certainly say that there's no real advantage to him playing, but he believes that it's worthwhile. And so if Patrick Mahomes does it, on the flip side, could you argue, hey, if Patrick Mahomes is doing it, Jordan Love should be doing it? I mean, he threw 26 passes last year in preseason, and they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. And Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes felt like it was worth the risk of having him out there. There's also the other layer to this of how crappy the Packers have been out of the gate the last 2 years in their openers.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball. They scored 3 points against New Orleans in their 21 opener. They scored 7 points last year in their opener in Minnesota. Their defense wasn't good in either game either. So I get it. I think it's a really interesting debate, and that's why we're having the conversation. Yeah. Let's keep going with the calls. 844-770-3776. Let's go up to my neck of the woods, the beautiful suburb of Green Bay, Alloway, and talk to Eric. Eric, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. We have that wonderful manure smell floating through the area today.
Yeah, big fan of that. Yeah, I noticed that when I walked the dogs. Awesome.
Anyway, so I think we need to see Love until there is success. And that just means like maybe 2 first downs. If it's a touchdown, great. But it's confidence. You don't get confidence going 3 and out the first series of each game. So if we see like 2-3 first downs in that first game, great, yank him. Second game, same thing. But that's a decision between coach and player. If LaFleur senses the confidence is there and the chemistry is there, sit him. But if there's not, keep playing him, because otherwise, why are you doing it? Thanks for my call.
Ooh, that now. All right, so now that's another. This is great because we've had 2 calls that have hit on points that I didn't even consider. The idea of, you mentioned confidence, Matt.
Yeah.
All right, you got 2 first downs, and then we had a punt, or we kicked a field goal, or whatever else, and then we're done. I have to admit, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But again, and the hole in my argument is playing him at all puts him at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, playing him into the third quarter puts him at far greater risk because he's on the field more. But if I'm going to be Mr. Mitigate Risk, mitigating risk is not having him play at all. Because that catastrophic play that I'm fearing that there's a 0.5% chance of happening could happen on 3rd and 6 on the opening series that he's playing. So I'm being a little bit of a phony here with my, be careful with him.
Well, I mean,
But I'm letting him
Jardy's was
play.
on the second series.
Right.
Second or first. It was first quarter, super early.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, that's when your starters play. Like, if it's going to happen, I'm thinking, Jason, the compromise, and similar to our call, the let's call this the helicopter beat reporter view, would be instead of a couple good plays where you get your confidence, Matt LaFleur goes up to Jordan Love and goes, hey, the second you get hit and if that ball's still in your hand, I'm pulling you. You either get rid of that ball and don't take the hit, but the second you get sacked, you're out of this game. So that might be a way for Jordan Love to, one, continue to make sure he's safe because he'll throw the ball away, but two, if he wants to stay on the field, he'll either get the ball out early or not get hit, and he could play longer. You could play more series if he's not taking shots. If he's super careful about getting rid of the ball and not taking a hit, I'd be okay with it.
All right, but the problem is
it only takes one hit.
And you don't want to play scared, right? I mean, there's an old NFL saying that when you play not to get hurt is when you get hurt.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Again, I'm fascinated by this. We're getting some tweets on this as well. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Strofe is curating some of your text messages. But if you want to give us a call, again, it's 844-770-3776. We'll get to some of your tweets on this as well. But we'll do that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour. So stay tuned if you're on YouTube or in Madison for another great Strofe Sports Center. And we'll kick off the 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch in 2 minutes. So stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Those are the familiar sounds of Pasquale's Cantina and the relaxing patio. It's the kind of place you can sit back, enjoy the conversation, warm weather, and drink one of our specialty margaritas, like the Blue Diamond Margarita, featuring Maestro de Bell tequila, blue curacao, and fresh lemon and lime juice. You'll think you're sitting on South Beach, Miami. That's the vibe from Pasquale's Patio. Now serving relaxation and enjoyment. Middleton and Verona. Bringing the flavors of the Southwest to the Midwest. Pasquale's Cantina.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Yeah, it is. And I'm Alex Strofe. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by you, ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Subscribe to watch Wilde and Tausch, which you may be watching, Scalzo and Brust, and all your favorite daily ESPN Wisconsin shows, plus interviews and bonus content. Subscribe to ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Joint practice day in Cincinnati ahead of Friday's Week 1 preseason game between the Green Bay Packers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Later today, Jordan Love will take the field against the first-string Bengals defenders. Love joined Peter King on NBC yesterday and talked about building chemistry with his young receiving corps.
Yeah, I mean, it's just reps for those guys, just getting those reps, getting familiar with the plays, how they come in and what they need to be doing on those plays. But, it's awesome for them. They've been getting a lot of reps since OTAs, reps with the ones that, are huge for them and better.
And more reps with the ones coming up in that joint practice later. Continued coverage on all things green and gold over at ESPNWisconsin.com. A brutal 10th inning last night for the Brewers leads to a 7-4 loss to the Rockies. They remain in first place of the NL Central. Game 3 against the Rockies, 1-10 this afternoon.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or MetroKiaofMadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with Matt Hamilton, the gold medalist
and fourth place finisher.
I appreciate you at least doing it under your breath this time.
In is our cousin sub of the day for Tausch. Well, Jesse's the one who calls you the fourth place finisher, just because that's the most recent Olympic foray for you. Doesn't change the fact that you are a gold medalist.
Woo! It's true. You're right.
I'm still waiting for my bobbleheads. And Alex Strofe is our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better for Jesse, who is working from home today.
WBA award winner, Alex Strofe. We're going to announce accolades.
Very many accolades.
Happy to be alongside the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
I know.
Sorry, I was petting my cat. I missed that outstanding Sports Center you did that I was teasing beforehand.
Which cat?
It was Sam. I think he's having some emotional. He's been a little reticent, a little reluctant around the other creatures around here, so I was giving him a little extra attention. Kind of like you have to do with Jesse.
Yo, Aaron Rodgers move in Green Bay.
He's not disgruntled, I don't think.
Okay. Say, if you need to ship him off.
Speaking of Jesse, here is where the poll currently stands, Strofe. I don't know if you've been checking in on this.
I have not been.
On the Wilde Tausch Twitter feed, Jesse Nelson is taking each Wednesday off this month to, quote, work from home and dog sit for his new puppy, Mo. If you were his ESPN Madison teammate, would you be irritated by this or okay with this? 72.4%. I'd be okay with it.
Wow.
You're getting destroyed, bro.
Well, I'm not getting destroyed because I never, A, suggested we should pull this, and B, I never said I was necessarily irritated with it.
Oh, come on.
I never said it. You may have implied it.
I inferred, you implied, and it's the truth. You're irritated by it.
Yeah,
You're irritated. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, he's doing well, and I may have been a little bit harsh in my retort to Ben here, but guess what? I work from home a lot, Ben. So I'm not air quoting work from home because I think there's a problem with it. If he's actually working, though.
I haven't gotten an email yet today. I did get one by 10 a.m. yesterday.
Well, he's the hardest working man in show business. Just ask him. All right, so a tweet from Matt Coonan on our Jordan Love conversation. If you feel Jordan Love shouldn't play in the preseason, should a starting quarterback ever play in the preseason? The problem is the risk is extremely tangible, but the reward won't be. I think he should play because he needs the intangible reward. Look, the only time I think you should play quarterbacks in the preseason is if you have a quarterback competition and you don't know who the hell your quarterback is, which I think is the case maybe in Tampa, where Baker Mayfield and that kid from Florida that they drafted a few years ago.
Trask?
Yes. Nice. Look at you.
First
Do you
name?
have him on your fantasy football team?
No clue what his name is. Kevin Trask? I don't know.
You're close, Kyle.
Nice. Look at you, man. Well done.
Thanks.
You got it wrong.
K name?
He got his last name right. I didn't even know his last name. He was the, quote, the kid from Florida.
Yes, Strofe. Just because Jason threw a shot at you before your Sports Center doesn't mean you have to start throwing him at me.
Shot? What is that? I praised him.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was praise.
There was no sarcasm in his tone whatsoever.
I must have missed that.
You guys assume you should be assuming best intent over there.
We come from a very toxic show.
Is that how things are from 2 to 4 on Rutledge and Hamilton?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Snark and
we
sarcasm.
like to call out people's mistakes as often as they make them. Yeah.
You wonder why I haven't been showing up to that show recently.
Did you get a puppy?
You and me both, brother.
No puppy yet.
All right. First of all, you guys do a great job. You can listen every weekday 2 to 4 on ESPN Madison 100.5, Rutledge and Hamilton, with two of the knuckleheads that are on today's program here. Now, are you guys both doing the show then from 2 to 4 today?
I will not be on the show today.
No, Struffy's got Prep Mania.
Coaches Roundtable.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches coming in today.
But Matt Hamilton is going to do 5 total hours of radio today.
He's a superstar.
Thank you for your service.
Even with the risk of injury, and because I still have shows the rest of the week,
helicopter host.
I am still going to go ahead and put my body on the line and do 5 hours today.
Are you concerned that there will be a lot of crossover between the conversations you have with Jim Rutledge and the conversations we've had?
Don't even get into my, the one thing that gives me anxiety about radio is repeating myself, realizing no one listens to me the entire time, but coming to that realization has been the hardest part for me.
Well, I'm glad we can help you work through that.
Yeah. Thanks, Jason.
To Matt's point in the, not Matt Hamilton, Matt Kunin's point in this tweet, no, I really don't. We got sidetracked with Kyle Trask. I don't think you should play your quarterback. And again, the reason why this is fascinating to me, and Strofe, this helps your argument. The fact that Patrick Mahomes plays in the preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, and remember, as you pointed out before you were born, when I was covering preseason games, like the starters, I used to love the preseason way more than I do because the starters played all the way into the third quarter of the third preseason game. Like, that was like a real game, man. Like, Mike Holmgren wanted to see, all right, we play the first half, we go to the locker room, we make some adjustments in the preseason. What a quaint concept. And then I want to see our starters have at least one series on each side of the ball to start the third quarter to see how we do when we apply the adjustments we made at halftime. Like, talk about an antiquated concept. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers playing in the third quarter of a preseason game? He hasn't played in a preseason game since 2018. I don't expect that to change.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me a bit. I mean, the league's changing, Jason. Look at running backs aren't worth any money anymore. You got rookie quarterbacks that just jump right into the starting role and never take any time under the veteran. That used to be like commonplace. If you were drafted in the first round as a quarterback, very rarely did you get thrust into the starting role. Most of the time you sat behind somebody and learned how to play starting quarterback. And times are changing. So I do appreciate that they have taken back on preseason, because if you're not going to do exactly what Mike Holmgren was doing, where you're actually trying to see what your starters have and see how you can make adjustments, if you're not doing that and the other team isn't putting the same effort in, there is no point to it. You're not getting real game reps. As much as seeing guys on the field in uniform in the lights and Lambeau might seem like it's actual game reps, if the other team's not giving you like their best effort, regardless of A team, B team, C team, whatever, if they're not giving you the best effort or their best defensive schemes, you're not really learning that much anyway. So I think these, like we were saying, I think these joint practices where players have a little bit of extra hunger going against another team, but in a practice setting where, you know, guys can run it back, try it again, do things where they can actually make improvements. I'm kind of over the preseason, to be honest. If they're going to do these joint practices, why don't they just film 3 joint practices every offseason, and we'll call that a preseason?
Because you can't charge people for them. That's the difference.
I know the dollar.
That's literally why they're keeping preseason games, because they make money. Just for those of you who are curious, I did fact check myself. 2018, the last time Aaron Rodgers played in the preseason, he was 2 for 4 for 35 yards with a touchdown and no interceptions for a 119.8 passer rating. That's what he did in 2018. That was the last time he played. He played 1 series, it would appear, before calling it a day in his only preseason game. Let's squeeze a quick call in before we get to Strofe's text messages. Let's talk to Tim in Hales Corners. Tim, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, fellas. How are you doing?
Good.
Great. My feeling is that if you don't get what you think you're going to get out of this practice with the Bengals, I think you have to play him for a few series. Unless you're totally afraid that you can't keep him upright, then go ahead and play him. You played him almost all last preseason. You have so many other younger players that need the experience too, whether it's the tight ends, Kraft and Musgrave, some of the wide receivers you're still trying to figure out. I don't think you have a choice but to play him unless you feel you've got everything you need to out of the joint practice.
So you would say, though, that if you feel like today's practice was super productive, then you would be willing to just play him like a quick series or two?
I think so. I mean, I remember back in the mid-'90s when Brett Favre was still playing, and he got absolutely smoked by Greg Lloyd. I think they were at Pittsburgh at the time. I think it was John Michaels or one of the left tackles whiffed on a block.
Yeah.
And I think Holmgren was, scared at that point. But you still kept him out there. You still played. There's still things you have to work through. And Goody has made the point that Jordan Love needs to play.
You're right. And he's also said, though, that he's in the Ted Thompson bubble wrap crowd. I was at Camp Randall in 1999. You've heard Matt Hasselbeck come on this show and discuss the pressure I put upon him by calling him Mr. August. But Brett Favre broke his thumb on John Mobley's helmet on that old turf at Camp Randall Stadium in a preseason game. It used to be the one home game I would get every year because I lived in Madison. I didn't have to drive to Green Bay for a game. I had to drive to 1440 Monroe Street. Brett Favre shattered his thumb. Now, he played through that 1999 season with a broken thumb. Don't get me started on the fact that he was a warrior and a hero for playing with a broken thumb, and Aaron Rodgers, we still hate him, even though he played with a broken thumb. But that's
Makes
the
sense to
risk.
me.
That's the risk. And so, again, you could derail your entire season if something bad happens. And, oh, by the way, in 2021, in the preseason, you know who hurt their shoulder in a preseason game? Jordan Love.
Yeah.
844-770-3776. Thanks for the call, Tim. Strofe, what do you have on the text portion of the talk and text line?
Yeah, let's start with Jeff in Mequon, who says, I think you have to avoid the risk of Love getting hurt. The thought of going into next season in the same boat of not knowing what kind of quarterback Love can be is way more dangerous than starting slow in the first few games of this season.
Yes. I hate the idea of if, and again, it's such a small possibility. I get that. But I suppose if we really want to go into the weeds, Jordan Love suffers a season-ending injury in a preseason game. You go 2-15 with Clifford the Big Red Dog as your quarterback. You have two first-round picks.
Are you saying the best quarterback in the XFL or the USFL isn't going to take that starting job?
He's got some Matt Hamilton to him, too, in his appearance, by the way.
Yeah, I'm looking for, Magoo?
Magoo.
Yeah.
Mr. Magoo, indeed.
Get him in the game.
But suddenly now you've got a top 2 pick, and you can take one of those two great quarterbacks that are going to be top of the draft. Obviously, Caleb Williams is expected to go number 1 overall, and Drake May expected to go number 2. I guess. But
I as scary as that situation sounds, given the way contracts are nowadays, I would say best of luck, Jordan Love. Sorry you didn't get proper playing time here in Green Bay, and I would take one of those rookies.
On the other side of the token, we go to Token Creek, where Matt says, the time is now to see what Jordan can do. He needs the work more than he needs to be careful of getting hurt. We don't know if Jordan will be our long-term QB, and we won't know until he plays a bunch. Get him in there to play. If he gets hurt, then we deal with it after the fact.
Very clever on the other side of the token. That was well done.
I'm a professional.
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to be sarcastic? Yeah, really good one there, Strofe.
I like that version better.
But my question, who was that in Token Creek?
He has the same name as your co-host today, who I refuse to acknowledge for the time being.
All right, Matthew. Here's the thing. How much do you really learn about how good Jordan Love is based on what he does in preseason games running vanilla offensive schemes against vanilla defensive schemes? Like, that's the other part of the equation that I do think is fair. Yes, he needs reps, because reps are valuable no matter what you're running, right? But are they as valuable as, are you really going to be able to make any sort of meaningful observation about him as opposed to what you can do based on what he does in Chicago on September 10th? I would argue no.
Right.
The Bears are going to throw real stuff at him.
My ultimate thought here at the end of the day is if Jordan Love goes out there and absolutely balls out, is great. He's not getting a contract extension. They're not gonna reference back to preseason after the season's over. It's like, hey, he had such a great preseason. We're gonna keep you around. And on that same side of the coin, if he is awful in the preseason and they go out and play, they're still gonna just base their decision on what they do with Jordan Love around the regular season. Like, whatever happens is purely going to be based on the regular season. Nothing matters. If you truly think he's going to get mechanically better playing in the preseason, like, maybe there is a point to it. But I don't think he's going to get mechanically better. The only thing he's going to gain there is confidence. But he could also lose it, and he could get injured. So I don't see the value because there's nothing there that he can do in the preseason that's going to change anyone's mind. It's going to be the culmination of work at the end of the season. That's going to be it. So just don't play him. He's got a whole regular season to play. We'll figure out where he's at that point. But we don't need to figure anything out in the preseason. It's not like we're thinking about playing Sean Clifford. Jordan Love's the guy. Don't play him. Don't let him get hurt. Let him start week 1.
This reminds me of when they played up in Winnipeg. And they had 33 guys who were inactive because they had concerns about the field. There was like a big hole in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
But they said to the other 67 guys,
"You're good.
We don't care if you get hurt. Go right ahead and play on this crappy field."
I know we have someone in Winnipeg listening right now, so easy what you say about the Winnipeg Bombers
Oh, the
field.
Klingster was there. He knows how bad the field was. It was a problem. All right, let's play some trivia. Strofe, does Jesse do this when he's, air quotes, working at home? Or, no, I'm just doing that to irritate Ben, who's not even listening. Or did you come up with trivia yourself today?
I wrote the questions. Why are you raising your hand?
I helped.
Matt did help. I will say that as well. Yes, Matt helped.
Well, it's great to know that you're not banned from trivia the way Jesse has banned a host of other cousin subs from being allowed to play trivia. All right. Let's do trivia. Strofe, what caller would you like?
I feel like we've been mean to Jesse today. He put caller 18 on the show sheet, so we can do caller 18.
You realize he put caller 18 to make you work harder. He could have just done caller 8. But no,
we'll do
caller 18.
18 for the year I won a gold medal.
And 21.
22
for when you finished in 4th place.
The Olympics are every 4 years, Jason. Not sure if you knew that.
I did. I struggled a little bit with the math there. 4 years, 4th place. Easy to remember. Caller 18 right now, 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller 18 right now for Wilde and Tausch Trivia. We will play that after we hear from Tausch telling us about his love for Coors Light.
Mark Tauscher here, and if I'm not hosting Wilde and Tausch, odds are I'm out enjoying a cold, refreshing Coors Light. Whether you're celebrating a big win or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light, it is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains, oh, those mountains, on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans turn blue. That's when you know it's chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, reminding you that from farm to table, there is no better product and no better taste than Grassland Dairy. Milwaukee's had a great run of sports success over the last few years. Wisconsin's college success has been well documented for 3 decades now. And of course, we know our favorite football team up in Green Bay is one of the most historic franchises in the league. But even more impressive than all of those great runs, Grassland has been serving up delicious taste and high-quality butter since 1904. That is over 5 generations. Grassland's commitment to quality and excellence starts with the way farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of the process. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable, delicious, nutritious dairy ingredients as they have for all these years. Butter better with better butter, and there is no better product and no better taste than Grassland butter. Grassland Dairy, crafting butter for 5 generations. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe. The high school football season is just a week away from kicking off, which means this Friday at 6, it's the Coaches Roundtable with 14 area high school football coaches. And from 8 to 9, it's the No Huddle Preview with Jesse Nelson and Dennis Semrau.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is also brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management, UW Credit Union, Stoughton Trailers, the GRB Academy, and Stoughton Health.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
If you want a fresh twist on surf and turf, look no further than North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Inspired by their time living in the Alaskan Gulf in southern Texas, owners Keith and Aaron brought together unique culinary backgrounds to create a truly authentic American restaurant here in Madison. After expanding to 2 more locations in DeForest and Verona, you can savor smoky, wood-fired barbecue and freshly prepared seafood from around the country. Explore their full menu and dining options at eatnorthandsouth.com. That's eatnorthandsouth.com.
Stoughton Health provides comprehensive and compassionate care to Stoughton community and the entire Madison area. From our sports rehab facilities in Oregon and Stoughton to our renowned ortho team with Dr. Ravel, Stoughton Health can help. Learn more at stoughtonhealth.com.
Mornings on ESPN Radio.
My daughter's 4. She had some bad nightmares around dino trucks. Dino trucks is just like it's like monster trucks, but like dinosaur.
Dinos.
Yeah, but like dinosaur, like dino trucks. My wife, like she can't watch action. To her, that's hard. But like for her, like same with my daughter. They just have like these extreme like dreams. I don't know what to call it, but it's a real thing in my house.
Mornings on ESPN Radio. It starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
At Starion Bank, they pride themselves on being a super community bank. Small enough to show they care about you and the communities they serve, while being large enough to make big things happen. With 3 Madison area branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona, Starion Bank is here investing in your community while offering valuable personal and business banking services. Start your experience with Starion Bank today by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Wilde Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Follow me, everything is alright. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night. And if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me.
Time now for trivia. I did some perusing of the trivia questions. From what I can tell, no incorrect answers being given as correct answers, as is sometimes the case here on this program. But we'll find out together, just to make sure. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Eric. Wow, big Green Bay flavor today's show.
Yeah.
Al away, and now Eric in Green Bay. Eric, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We are outstanding. The trivia category, which I never actually said, because it is Wednesday, it is Wisconsin Geography Wednesday trivia. And the great Matthew Hamilton, gold medalist. That's all I'm saying.
I love it.
Has question number 1.
I sure do. Not only am I reading it to you, I came up with this one. Question number 1. The Devil's Doorway is an iconic landmark at which of these Wisconsin state parks? Wilde Goose State Park, Devil's Lake State Park, Mo Nelson State Piddlepoo.
Let's go Devil's Lake.
Nailed it. Strofe. You said let's give them a fake one and a real one, and you get
Wild Goose State Trail is a real state trail.
Yeah,
I
but
just
you
added
said-
an E on Wild.
Clever.
Clever.
Eric, who's helping you with trivia there?
I have a 1-year-old I'm feeding lunch to
Awesome.
right now. Can you hear him?
I love it. No,
Just here and there.
Yes, we can, and yes, that's awesome. All right. Question 2 is this. As we've learned, Strofe is great at directions. Which of these is the northernmost Wisconsin city? Is it Rhinelander, Tomahawk, or Rice Lake?
Oh boy, I haven't even heard of Rice Lake. Let's go. That's a wild card there. Let's go Rhinelander.
Getting a little help from his 1-year-old. Correct.
Nice.
Rhinelander is correct.
Now, to clarify, the question was a little funny. Which of these cities is the most northern? There are more northern cities than all of those.
You would think that the 3-time Sports Writer of the Year could improvise to make the sentence make sense.
I interpret it as the northernmost out of the 3.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. Well, good.
so did I.
I'm glad because I heard it and I was like, none of these are the most northern. Anyway, okay.
I was
Question
just
3.
passing blame. Sorry, Jason.
What is the northernmost city in Wisconsin? Can we get that?
It's got to be like Superior,
probably?
Ashland.
Yeah.
Bayfield.
Yeah. All right.
I'll fact check that while Matt asks question 3.
Yes. Question 3.
All righty.
According to the Wisconsin DNR, Wisconsin has more lakes than Minnesota, which is dubbed as the land of 10,000 lakes. How many lakes does Wisconsin have? 13,074, 15,074, or 16,074?
Say those one more time.
13,
Is it 14, 15, or 16,000?
13, 15, or 16,000.
Let's go 15. Let's go 15. Right in the middle.
3 for
perfect week.
Woo!
At least with this conglomeration of the 3 of us, it's a perfect day. Eric, well done, and because you're a curious person, you can tell your 1-year-old that Cornucopia is the northernmost town in Wisconsin. From Bayfield, you'll follow Highway 13 21 miles north as it makes its way along the Bayfield Peninsula, as Tausch likes to say that word, until you come upon Cornucopia. So there you go. 3 for 3. You got 4 entries into Friday's drawing. Thanks for playing. Enjoy lunch with your 1-year-old, Eric. We appreciate you.
You got it. You guys take care.
That was fun. That was very fun. Cornucopia.
Love that word. Strofe, do you know what a cornucopia is?
Sounds like a birth sign.
So,
like Sagittarius.
yeah, like I'm a cornucopia.
That's actually pretty good.
That's not bad. It's wrong. It's that like little horn on a Thanksgiving table with all the fruit and stuff in it.
Oh, sure. That's a
cornucopia. Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a Wisconsin town named after the festive Thanksgiving decoration.
I guess so.
Cornucopia, an ornamental container shaped like a goat's horn. Also,
So why don't they call it hornucopia?
It's fair. That's a fair question.
Because they put corn in it.
Also, an abundant supply of good things of a specified kind. We've had a cornucopia of fun here today so far on Wilde
No
and Tausch.
sarcasm there either. I'm starting to get it.
I can't believe how much you guys assume negative intent.
No,
around
I was
here.
saying there wasn't any sarcasm in that.
Uh-huh. Sure you were. That's exactly what you were saying. Woe Strophe is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 7th. Position players, pitchers, and catchers can showcase their skills for over 40 college coaches scheduled to attend. Registration is open to all players in the 2024 to 27 graduating years, and spots are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Sign up today at grbacademy.com. That's grbacademy.com. Rays Baseball. Raise your game.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Set summer in motion with the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and Accord, with available hybrid powertrains designed to deliver more thrilling performance and more innovative tech. Summer's here. Make every adventure more electrifying with Honda, the most awarded brand in car and driver 10 best history.
See your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin.
See dealer for financing details.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. Well, it's always a good time to get that special someone in your life a beautiful gift. And when I'm in need of a new piece of jewelry, Chalmers Jewelers is my go-to place. Whether I want a timeless classic or a one-of-a-kind piece, Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison has just what I'm looking for. My life has been made so much easier thanks to the great team over at Chalmers Jewelers, and is the reason I keep going back for more. Visit chalmersjewelers.com to find your perfect new piece of jewelry today.
The Prairie Athletic Club offers more for your money than any other health club in the area. Train in CrossFit, Pilates, hot yoga, and over 150 group fitness classes organized per week. Or upgrade to the PAC's new Platinum membership for unlimited access to these sessions, along with Training Zone and Boot Camp classes. Then get outside at the Dolphins Cove Water Park and the Prairie Pines Golf Club in Sun Prairie. Call, stop by, or visit prairieathletic.com today. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, and community.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm Vice President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde. Show your excitement for the Brew Cruise return with Brewers Checking from Associated Bank. You'll get a one-of-a-kind Brewers Debit MasterCard, 10% off at the team store, and VIP treatment with Express Check-In through the Associated Bank gate. And for the ultimate all-inclusive game day experience for your crew, check out the Associated Bank Power Alley Group Space. Featuring a full buffet and private bar, the Power Alley overlooks left center field. And who knows, the next Brewers home run could be headed your way. Learn more today at associatedbank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
Watch every ESPN Madison show live every day. Subscribe to ESPN Madison on YouTube for live video of every show and exclusive content. Just search ESPN Madison.
All right, before we get to Whoa Strophy! Whoa Strophy. You can use the old one if you want, but that's a good one. Whoa Strophy! Whoa Strophy. That was less than energetic.
Yeah.
Probably fair. Breaking news to me. We're getting a new area code in Wisconsin? I missed this story. From the Madison.com News Alert Center, which I just received my emails that I get for, I don't know if this is breaking news. The new area code could start as soon as September 15th for southwest and south central Wisconsin. This would include Madison, Beloit, Janesville, Monroe, La Crosse, Platteville.
This is news.
Etc. 353.
No.
Yes.
So, my 608's gone?
No,
still
I
have
think this
the
is
608.
additional.
Because, Jason, what I thought you were referring to when you told me this in the break was the 274 area code that was added to your neck of the woods, the 920.
Wait, there's another one?
That one started earlier this year, yes. There's 274 and 920 now in the greater Green Bay Metroplex, I believe you like to call it. And now it looks like the 608 will be adding 353 as of September 15th. So 2 new area codes to the state of Wisconsin this year.
All right, I didn't mean to cut into Whoa Trophy time. So now we've got 414-262-920, 608, 715, and then these 2 new ones. Am I missing any?
I think that's it. 274 and 353 is what the other.
The new ones.
353. Get loose. All right, time now for Woe's Trophy.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Woe's Trophy
on Wilde Tausch.
That's some top
Woe's Trophy. For the record, I feel like while we're making fun of my lack of energy for Woe's Trophy, I also feel like I was like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber there with that new area code. We landed on the moon. All right, sorry. Here we go.
It's all right. Here we go, indeed. So I am fascinated by Hard Knocks, and I don't. If this was any other quarterback, I'd still be bringing this up because it was an incredibly awkward interaction between McCole Hardman and Aaron Rodgers. If you haven't seen the Hard Knocks episode, here's the conversation they showed between the two of them.
Hey, it's crazy, though. I really was 7 years old. I was this tall.
You're aging me again?
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Not aging you, but showing you how great you is. That should be like a technique, how great you really is. Because I watched you my whole life, basically.
You're 25?
I'm 25 years old. But I watch you my whole life, though, so it's to be on the team with you now, it's I can't wait to tell my son, hey, this guy right there, I played with him. You was just 5 months when I do it.
Jason, I've read you my whole life, man. I've read you my whole life. I can't wait to tell my kids and my grandkids that I worked with you, dude. I've read you my whole life. How old am I? I'm 24.
Yeah.
I've read you my whole life.
Strobe, I straight up did that last time.
I know you did. That's why I'm bringing it up. I remember the posters that came in the Wisconsin State Journal,
it was
Jason.
just as awkward.
No, yours was actually worse because you weren't even praising my work. My work just happened to be on the backside of Donald Driver's butt.
And I am also not 25. I'm a little bit older.
Oh, man. That was well executed. I saw the same scene and thought the same thing. There's no real, I think McCole.
I go with McCole, but I'm probably wrong.
I think his heart was in the right place, but it's just an awkward way of messaging your admiration and how long you've been a fan. And I would also argue that if I'm Rodgers, I don't want you to look at me that way. That's part of the problem. And that was part of my argument with him last year not coming to the offseason program. Because Romeo Doubs, the day he was drafted, spoke about how he watched Aaron Rodgers in Super Bowl 45 with his mom sitting on the couch with his mom, who was a Packers fan, and he was 10. And now he's your teammate. I don't want to hear that if I'm Rodgers. And if I had the chance to advise McCole, I'd have said, hey, just tell him, hey, I really admire you. I've been a big fan for a long time. I'm excited to be your teammate. And leave it there.
Yeah.
Not, I used to collect the posters from the Wisconsin State Journal, and occasionally I read your stories. That was awesome.
I didn't go that
curious.
far.
I am curious, Matt.
Yeah.
Fair. Is there like curlers that come up to you now that are maybe starting out, that are like 16, 18 years old, and they're like, hey, man, I remember the mustache in the 2018 Olympics. You have so much swag. You're so awesome. Right? Do you get that at all in the curling sphere?
Actually, no, I was being messed with, but there's a 22-year-old by the name of Kevin Tuma from Minnesota.
It's not a Tuma.
Exactly, just like that. So we were chatting a little bit at their table, and they had brought up the Junior World Championships, and someone was like, oh, Matt won a Junior World Championship in 2008. And he looked at me straight face and goes, you did? And that was pretty rough. So, no, kind of the opposite end. Not, I've been watching you forever. It was like, oh, that was like when I was born. Like, that's neat. He I think he knew and was messing with me, but it's pretty good on his part to be a 22-year-old kid and decide I'm going to mess with the Olympic gold medalist / fourth place finisher.
No, he's doing it.
Have it.
Whoa,
Strophy!
Whoa, Strophy.
Today, August 9th, besides my father's birthday, National Book Lovers Day.
Happy birthday to the Chief!
The Chief! National Book Lovers Day. I often hear a quote from Scalzone Bruss from years ago where Ben Bruss says he hadn't read a book since 2010. I'm curious if either of you are avid book readers, because I don't peg Matt Hamilton as being one. Jason, you have a lot of books behind you, as you can see on the video stream. No offense, I feel like you don't open any of them very often. Are either of you avid book readers?
Okay, I read this book. I read that book.
Well, I understand that, but that could have been in 1999, Jason. When's the last time you read a book?
Okay, yeah. Definitely no to avid. I'm not an avid reader, but I was probably out of it with Scalzone Bruss as well, basically since high school. And then I picked one up when I was in the bubble for the Curling World Championships in Calgary in 2020. I picked up, what was it called? Or 2021. It was called The Long Walk. And it was based on a real story about some Polish prisoner of war who got taken to Siberia and then escaped the war camp and got all the way to like India and walked the whole way. So actually that was really fascinating. So that's probably the last book I read. I'm probably 1.5 books in the last decade. Half of Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain as well.
You're not entirely wrong. I have not done a great job of reading books in recent years. I probably get to 1 or 2 a year. I like to read when I go to bed, but most of the time I'm reading, the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Wisconsin State Journal.
His pinky's up, no doubt. I can just sense his pinky being raised.
I like to sit in my smoking jacket and read the Sunday paper while I do the crossword. But I read a lot. I don't read a lot of books. I need to do a better job of that. Tausch had made it his goal to read a book a month. Also, some of the books that were on the Aaron Rodgers book club list with McAfee, not really up my alley. So I have the biography of Phil Knight that I really want to read. I have it. I have not opened it yet.
Did you not just receive a copy of the biography of Joe Thomas?
I did. Autographed copy.
Have you opened it yet?
I read the inscription. Which was very kind, and thank you, Joe. That is also there. I have a stack of several books on my desk in the spare bedroom that I intend to read.
Been there.
I have not started yet. Also, just came across this. I didn't even know I had this book, a book about the 1985 Chicago Bears. Should I just send it to... I'm never going to read this. Should I just send it to Jim Rutledge instead?
He probably already has it.
All right. Since you're doing a show with him later, Monsters...
Of the Midway?
No. Monsters, I think it's just called. The 1985 Chicago Bears and the Wild Heart of Football. Ask Rutledge. Right here, there you go. That's what it looks like. Ask Rutledge if he's read that for me. Whoa, Strophe. I'll send it to him.
That's it. Just wanted to play it. Just wanted to play it one more time.
Whoa, Strophe. No, you need another topic. Come up with one right now.
All right, over on ESPN.com, Jason Wilde. The 13 teams that could consider switching quarterbacks at the beginning of the 2024 season, one of which is the Green Bay Packers.
What?
And I will read on the radio like you like to do.
Oh, I love it when this happens.
Most likely outcome. Love has an up-and-down campaign showing some promise, but not completely convincing the Packers that he's the long-term option. They poke around next offseason, either bringing in a veteran to compete with him or drafting another quarterback high, or maybe even both.
Yeah, I would say he has to really be bad for them to just give up on him. I mean, the general manager basically took him and pissed off one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history and started. I mean, I would say there was a snowball of discontent that Aaron Rodgers had from the Jordy Nelson treatment on his way out the door. And maybe it was a large snowball. Like when you're making a snowman, he had not pushed it far enough for it to become like the base of the snowman. But then you draft Jordan Love, and he built like the big abominable snowman in
and then you screw
Frozen.
up Devontae Adams' contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
A myriad of things that occurred. So I can't imagine that if Jordan Love is just okay or slightly less than okay, but still has good moments, that he's not the quarterback next year. I think he has to absolutely suck for him not to be the quarterback next year.
Yeah,
and I don't think
Goody's
that's
a little too
occur.
invested.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe not necessarily for the better. I think he's too invested. Rain or shine, there's going to be he's got too much into him right now because his legacy is kind of riding on that pick, given everything that's gone down. If Jordan Love doesn't work out in some capacity, it's going to be looked at as one of the worst picks in Packers history, and I think Goody knows that.
Yeah, I do think there is the incredible danger of, if he's not good enough, of a lot of people turning on Goody.
Yeah.
Everyone who's supporting him now, no one's going to say, boy, he took a shot, and it didn't work out, but it was a good decision. I don't think that'll be what occurs. I think there'll be a lot more people like Craig Karmazin then who'll turn around and say, you know, if you'd have drafted a T. Higgins or someone else could have helped you right away, you might have won the Super Bowl in 2020 instead of picking Aaron Rodgers' replacement. All right, that is the end of Woes Trophy. We'll wrap things up with the end of the program. Next, it's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
I'm coming.
Hi, Mark Tauscher. Tausch, you have mosquitoes in here.
It's like an insect zoo right now at my house. Here comes that wasp again. Incoming.
Shoo, you need Pella's 250 series of windows with exclusive hidden screens, protecting you from nature.
Yes, please. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin to the rescue.
Get a 250 series patio door and 8 double-hung windows with hidden screens as low as $188 per month. PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 8/31/23.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you at greatdanepub.com. Former Wisconsin offensive lineman and Badger great Joe Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame over the weekend for his contributions with the Cleveland Browns during his time in the NFL, and thanked his Badgers coaches for their contributions to his football career.
To my Badger coaches, Barry Alvarez, Brett Bielema, Paul Christ,
You guys helped turn an 18-year-old boy who's 250 pounds into a man. You showed me how to be a teammate that people could count on. You always said, count on me. And that was my motto, still is my motto to this day.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Hi, I'm Medicine Money Guy Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
What does summer sound like in a new Chevy? Find the best way to the ballpark with the Chevy Equinox navigation system. Load up the kayaks with room to spare and the spacious Chevy Trailblazer with 60/40 split folding rear seats. Haul out the camper and spend a night roasting marshmallows with the Chevy Silverado. Or feel the roar of the crowd and bring the whole crew along in the Chevy Traverse with seating for up to 8. So what are you waiting for? This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today. Traverse seating up to 8 standard and LS available on LT with second row bench seat, RS Premier and High Country seat 7.
My eye doctor gives me a lot of great advice, but the best piece of advice she ever gave me was where to go for LASIK. TLC Laser Eye Centers. Did you know that TLC has performed over 2.3 million LASIK procedures nationally, including treatment for over 10,000 doctors? Doctors recommend TLC because that's who they trust with their eyes. So book your free consultation now at TLC Laser Eye Centers, the doctor's choice for LASIK.
Right now, TLC is offering 20% off LASIK when treated in August. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes. So call 888-TLC-2020 or visit saveontlc.com. That's saveontlc.com. The doctor's choice for LASIK. Must mention this promotion and be treated in August of 2023 to qualify. 20% off standard price of procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to saveontlc.com for details.
Forward Madison FC's professional soccer season is in full swing from Breese Stevens Field. The race to the USL League One playoffs is heating up, and the Flamingos' next home match is Wednesday, August 9th at 7 p.m. versus Chattanooga Red Wolves SC. Get in with individual tickets or the family special pack, including a match ticket, meal at the match, and an FMFC scarf, all for $21 per ticket. To purchase tickets, head to ForwardMadisonFC.com. Forward Madison, fun for all.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
We're on the Packers
The NFC is mediocre to below mediocre.
because we're on Wisconsin sports.
The Packers are not going to be some cellar-dwelling stink pot.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter right there. If you listened yesterday, you get that reference. What a great week of cousin subs of the day we have planned. We had our buddy Brad Nortman, everyone's favorite punter, America's punter, yesterday. We have 2018 Olympic gold medalist,
whoop, whoop,
Matt Hamilton, today. And then tomorrow, Brian Blaga, Iowa, makes a triumphant return. Fresh off of being talked about on Hard Knocks last night, he will talk to us tomorrow. All right, Matt, I don't want to steal any material from Rutledge and Hamilton, which will air today from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Do you feel like you can take some of the material that you gleaned from this show into your 2-hour stint on your regularly scheduled program and repackage it with Jim Rutledge to be able to repeat yourself kind of, but try, put a little new spin on it by then, and everything will be puppy dogs and ice cream and rainbows and all kinds of good stuff.
I had an idea. I was going to go to our producer for the Rutledge and Hamilton show, which is going to be Ryan Wollersheim, the sommelier, and I am going to give him a little homework. Maybe clip like 3-4 things from the show. I'll give him some examples of things that I liked, and then we'll throw them at Jim. That way I can get his reaction, and maybe he sways my opinion a little bit. Maybe I've got to dig back into him and tell him why he's wrong. I think that's a way that I can rehash it without really feel like I'm rehashing it.
So I would say this about the great Jim Rutledge. His experience as a Bears fan, to me, feels like an extremely valuable font of information for Packers fans who are preparing themselves for life with love.
I totally agree with you, but when I hear Jim talk about it as like the Bear fan, it's like there's times when my wife tells me things that I know she's right about. I just don't want to listen to her. Just because I don't want I would take that advice from a friend 1,000 times better than I would take it from my wife. Same situation from Jim. It's like, Jim, I know you have been in quarterback purgatory for as long as you can remember. I don't want to hear it from you. You're a Bears fan. I don't want to hear it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Even though I know he's a wealth of knowledge with terrible quarterback play, I'd rather hear it from anyone else.
Well, if that's not a sales pitch to listen to Rutledge and Hamilton later today on ESPN Madison, I don't know what is. Thanks to both Matt Hamilton and to Alex Stroh for being our cousin subs of the day today. We will do it again tomorrow without both of them. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us today. Hope you're there. Thanks again. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde Tausch? Presented by Pella